Ahead of the latest decision on interest rates from the Federal Reserve coming up at 2 p.m. this afternoon, we're seeing futures back in positive territory once again this morning, looking to extend another afternoon rally that came into effect yesterday late in the day. Pretty impressive bounce back once again. It wasn't enough to get markets back to positive, but well off the lows of the day. End of the session, the Dow was down 66 points, about 0.2%. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ both down 1.2 and 2.3% overall. But as I said, there was a nice bounce back late in the day once again yesterday. All about Microsoft earnings so far this morning. Yeah, a bit of a whipsaw action, to say the least, aftermarket yesterday after the initial report, and then the forecast comes out, it goes right back up, and now we're solidly higher on the day. Tesla, Intel on deck for today, both trading higher here in the pre-market. We'll talk about some of the chip makers. The entire group pretty strong here so far. Boeing out with its report, not great overall. We'll work through that this morning, see if there's any ideas for Boeing. And some of the EV stocks, specifically I want to mention NIO, going to be on watch today. Yeah, they might be considering a Singapore listing over a secondary listing in Hong Kong. It's Wednesday, January 26, 2022. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. Nice look to kick things off for Fed Day. 2.4% right now. Yeah, for the NASDAQ leading the way. Both the Dow and the S&P up more than a full percent. Same story for TSX futures here in Toronto. About 1% to the upside. Cryptos bouncing back nicely as well after quite a couple of weeks here to the downside. So 7%, 3% for Ethereum and Bitcoin. Welcome to Fed Day, guys. Probably the most important, I guess we could say, Fed Day in quite some time, as we'll get more to come, Sean.
No, because it's not that. I agree with what you're saying, Brendan, in the fact that it's the most important because we haven't had a decision in a long time. But it's 98% or something that what we're going to get today, right? So I feel like the next one might be I only think it's important when there's uncertainty, and I think right now today there's certainty in what we're getting. That's why I said that.
I think we know in March we're going to get a quarter-point hike. We know that we're going to get, at some point, we're going to get to the balance sheet's going to get tapered off. But I think we don't know what the balance sheet situation is going to be. And I think that's key because they have to, you can't actually have less assets. The Fed can't have less assets, good morning by everybody, until they stop making bond purchases, which they haven't even done yet. So I think once you get some clarification on that, hopefully this afternoon, I think that's going to be a little bit key. And again, they could change tapering headline, but look, we're not going to get anything today. It's going to be about the comments. So 2 o'clock, maybe we'll see some movement. I think it's more about the aftermath of that. The real story today is, the Microsoft earnings. You can call it buy the dip. We call them stink bids around here. And I forget who coined the phrase stink bid. I want to say it was Greg. If it was Brad.
I thought it was Greg. I think we're just going to go.
I think it was Greg. And if you heard us say stink bid, it's when you put a bid far away from the current price in case there is a liquidity vacuum or in case there's a crazy move, and then you can get picked up in it. And that was gorgeous on Microsoft yesterday. And it's a tale of what it did to the entire market. A couple of days ago, I was looking at my quote board this time, and it was, everything was a sea of red. It was 4 or 5 names up. Now, I don't track every name in the market, but from what I was looking at yesterday and a couple of names that I added to my quote board, the red stocks on it, Procter on 1,300 shares at 0.5%, that's really nothing. Silvergate, MindMed, that SRRA from yesterday, that small cap, and the APM. So a couple of small caps that are just giving back from yesterday, and then a few stocks which are basically doing nothing. And everything else is to the green that's on my quote board, literally everything, unless it hasn't even opened yet.
I wish guys, welcome back, as Neil said. It's going to be a fun day today. It's 8:34, and we're already seeing a lot of volume. Microsoft, 1.7 million shares. And yesterday, it's too bad we don't have the clip, because yesterday when this tanked down to 270, I was like, this needs to be bought. This is a huge buy down there at 270. I hope some of you did. I see Mike there in the chat. He did buy at 270, 274. Great purchase yesterday in the aftermarket. Microsoft, when you dipped into there, I said it was a screaming buy, and I didn't even know the numbers It's just, there's certain levels that come into play here. Like, I did not think that Microsoft would come close to 260. We still could get there. I mean, we still have Apple to come. Amazon, I don't think Amazon will be very good. We still have Apple to come. I think they'll be good. Tesla, we've already, we're going to watch Tesla today as well, as they have some news. But, the Microsoft, the Apples, the Teslas of the world, they're really what's sort of rallying the NASDAQ. And you have AMD with a nice move today. For me, I am really, really impressed with DraftKings. And I mean, today they get that upgrade from Morgan. It's just been down, 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 down. Finally, maybe some green shoots here for DraftKings today. So I haven't spoken nicely about them, but that's because, we were talking about buying it in here, $33, $34. And it's like, if Microsoft came out with that number and the stock was at highs, $330, $340, it would get hit, right? They only had a 1% growth in Azure. It wasn't a huge quarter for them. It was kind of as expected. The guidance was nice. But DraftKings today, before earnings, I don't think we really want to see their earnings, but they get a nice little bump up here to $20. And I think I like the long here in DraftKings today. So there's a few good trades that we've sort of changed our mind on here based on that upgrade from Morgan today for DraftKings. I like AMD, I like Intel, I like Microsoft, but I do wonder if there is going to be a little bit of a dip. The NASDAQ's up 2.3%, Brendan. So today should be an exciting morning, and I'm not sure what will happen up until that 2 o'clock. And then from 2:30, basically, once they start speaking and so on and so forth, the statement comes out, then we'll start seeing some action in the markets.
Yep, make sure you are right here. We will take you right through the entire thing starting at 2 o'clock. We'll get the announcement, and then the press conference might be a little bit more exciting than the actual release itself. I was simply referring to the fact, first time since 2018, we're going to get an interest rate hike, which is crazy. Mama Mancini's MMMB just popping up here on some news, guys. So heads up on that. They're looks like teaming up with Amazon Fresh for a branded retail line, including plant-based meatballs. So watch it for Mama Mancini's today, MMMB. I don't know. It was just a volume alert. Before we go any further, let's bring in Miss V, ready for the chat again today.
Right, Brandon. Good morning, team. It's going to be a busy day, guys, and I wish you all the luck with your trades. Please don't forget to like this video, and let's get it started, Brandon.
Lots to get through as we head towards the open this morning, under an hour to go. This morning, again, it's Fed Day, so as we said, we might get some opportunities right out of the gate here at 9:30, but it also might kind of calm down pretty quickly, guys. Worth noting, on Fed days, typically, you get that initial move, and then it's kind of wait for 2 p.m. and wait and see for 2 p.m. to see what happens. Then the fireworks happen, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, sorry about that. I was just looking at some of the chat there and looking at Ford going crazy today. Yeah. Look. You're going to watch the spiders. You're going to watch some gold. Gold's been moving. Energy's been moving as well into this number. And it's kind of like what we expect to have happen, that quarter point rate hike in March. And then today it's just going to be more about the statement, see where they're going, see if they take that hawkish stance like they've been doing. We can call up the NASDAQ here. We talk about the triple Qs. 352, it's been a nice bounce this morning from these bottoms. But at the same time, this is what the daily looks like. It's been pretty nasty here for the NASDAQ. And I don't really think the Fed is going to change too much of their stance. To me, the most important thing that we're going to hear about is I want to see if there is a talk or a reaction to this move in the market. The Fed's not supposed to care about what the stock market does. The stock market's supposed to be a reflection of their policies and what they're supposed to do to curb something like inflation, to help GDP, things like that, to get the economy flowing, worry about unemployment, things like that. The market is supposed to be, a follow-through of the actions of the Fed. So we'll have to wait to see what happens today. If they come out and Powell starts saying we have been monitoring the equities, something like that, then I think that is very bullish for the lack of possible rate hikes. If they're looking at the market, then they may slow down on, people are calling 8 hikes in the next 2 years, right? 4 almost each year. And I don't know the extent. If it's quarter point each year, that would put us to 2% higher than where we are now. That's kind of typically, rates are at 0. So, quarter point. to go up to 2 kind of puts us back to where we were in the 2000s, you know, even a little bit lower. So I still feel like this is a good environment for stocks. It's just right now we're getting a re-weighting on a lot of these tech names. If you look at it, if you back out, actually I was listening to a podcast last night, Neil, and if you back out the NASDAQ, the S&Ps, some of the tech names that are in the S&P 500, it's only down 6%. So if you back out Softy and Google and Facebook and Apple and all those names, and you just take, I mean, it's obvious, right? Because you take the banks, you take energy, which has been up. We're only down 6%, which isn't really that bad. It's the NASDAQ that we're worried about.
You know what's interesting for me? It's like, I guess it's different for everybody, but like I always say don't look at your long term, but when I look at the difference between like your RSP and then TFSA, because if you're really balanced, you almost don't notice like the pullback if you're diversified there. But then in more of the growth names, that's where it's been. Now, like I'm not saying that Microsoft can't lift all ships forever here, and it's been a great morning so far in terms of, and we're up 2%. Obviously, that's fantastic. But usually it's usually pretty quiet going into the Fed. So if the Nasdaq's able to break out, or even just look at the ES, because it's almost. I just like it a little bit cleaner here on the chart here. Like you look at a 44.25, like exactly where we were a little bit yesterday at those highs. Even if you were to break that, like could we really extend past the next level and rally that far? Go into 2 o'clock, that would be pretty atypical in my mind. And even if we got there, I'd be expecting a little bit of a turnaround. I think one of the approaches I'm going to look for today is, you know, what are the kinds of things that maybe shouldn't have a turnaround in sentiment and be up, and then you know try to be a little bit more bearish on those and pick your spots for the longs. Be careful. There might be some dip buy opportunities, but if I don't think, like I'm just throwing it out there, like I don't see a good reason why GameStop should be up after Microsoft lifted the markets to the upside. Right, so something like that into a resistance level could make a heck of a lot of sense to me. I think those are the kind of things I'll be looking for. I'm kind of doubting that we'll extend past second levels when you're looking at the ES and the NASDAQ, and we're already showing signs of bouncing around and pulling back off some of those highs. Like this is pretty much exactly where we were late afternoon in the rally when things turned right around, just slightly above that mark, that 4,400 and the 14.4 on the NASDAQ. Like we're just bouncing back and forth off of that level. If we retrace that, well, I mean, you're hoping we can put in a lower high, but it's not atypical on a Fed day to have a lack of extension and then things get sleepy at lunchtime.
The other kind of interesting, noteworthy angle here, guys, is earnings season. Obviously, it's quite rare that we get a Fed decision of this magnitude during earnings season. I just checked, outside of July of this year, this is the only one that's going to happen during a reporting season. July is later on in the month, similar to January, I guess, but interesting as there's multiple different headlines to deal with. Speaking of headlines, Mattel higher here, 8.3%. You can have a look at Hasbro as well. They're down, but Hasbro has some other similar news. But Mattel picking back up from Disney the licensing for the Frozen characters from Hasbro. I remember we were sitting here on this show talking about this deal when it happened. Initially when Hasbro picked it up from Mattel. So going back over to Mattel. So interesting story there. Neil, I know you're excited about going out shopping now to buy said characters.
Well, I'm not going to have a choice. It's just.
Is she still into Frozen?
Oh my goodness. So
my kid's like,
there's an entire world. Like Elsa world. Like when she goes to sleep, she goes to Elsa world when she dreams. It's like the Frozen is still the thing. And I'm sure at some point it's going to end. It just really hasn't in my household. Yet, which is fine. It's good music. Idina Menzel has a great voice, so I don't mind it too much. But as much as it was big news back then for Hasbro, it's big news for Mattel. I wish I could tell you that Mattel is going to be, let's trade Mattel today. But as I can show you on the daily chart, it's been pretty. I mean, sometimes boring is good, I guess. A relatively boring stock, and even with this 8.5% up, it's done 100,000 shares in pre-market volumes here. And if you look at how volatile it usually is, like that's about what it's already put in is usually about the extent of the move. Like you might get a little bit of that in earnings, and probably the last time, but it's just, it's
100,000 shares.
100. What did I say?
I thought you said 8. I was like,
oh,
am I
my bad.
looking at the wrong stock?
100,000 shares. Only 100,000 shares. So I don't know if this is going to be a trading vehicle, although if you can look at something like this for obvious support and resistance, because when things calm down, hey, picking it up in the bottom of this channel on positive news, I can't imagine a scenario under why it would be breaking some recent lows. So if there's any dips to be had, you find a boring stock like this, maybe there's a day trade is your bottom picking when things get sleepy potentially around lunchtime. If this pulls back, it could be an opportunity. But I think it's going to suck for Hasbro, obviously. I mean, I actually didn't even check to see how much Hasbro was down. Only 2% Hasbro's down as the daily chart loads up here. And it's also not doing a heck of a lot of volume. But, I look at this and sort of say, okay, we break down, like Hasbro breaking potential support over the last couple of days. And as much as this was a good bump for Hasbro before, you look at a tale of two different charts. But neither one of them is doing a heck of a lot of volume today. They're not horrible ideas in terms of finding some liquidity and finding some action off of the open. I would more lean into, I guess, if I had to choose, buying Mattel if it were to dip anywhere close to that $20 level. Hasbro, though, I mean, if things get out of hand selling, I'll probably check back in on it. But even less volume, 12,000 shares? Wow. Yuck.
Yeah. I don't think it moves the needle. The 8% is beautiful, so there's nothing wrong with that. But remember, you are getting a big bounce back in the NASDAQ. I wouldn't trade either one of those names, but to add them to your portfolio would not be anything wrong with that. What a big move it has been for crypto backside now lately. So congratulations to anybody that's been long here into this dip. Not congratulations if you're long. Bitcoin back down to 38 though. That's not too bad. I mean, we were starting to sell when this broke 3, when we broke 125 in Cardano, and we broke 40,000 in Bitcoin. The only thing that we've rebought in, I do have a bid down near 2,100 for Ethereum. I have a bid obviously down near 32,000 for Bitcoin, and I don't have any bids on Cardano. And then I have bids lower in the 80s for Solana, but we've also bought some Solana. That's the only thing I bought in this dip. Around 90. I mean, we have some 95s in the account, some 91s from yesterday, and then we're waiting for a little bit lower than that, but some nice moves back here. Dogecoin, this is someone put on Matic. I really like Matic. I like what they're doing in the NFT space. I think that's going to be really important. And again, part of the problem with NFTs and Ethereum is the gas prices. So there are, different companies, I guess these companies, projects, that's what they call them, projects that are being worked on for that. Shiba Inu still 2196. Remember when that was 5? So we were talking about that not too long ago. Other than that, not much. I like Avalanche as well. You talk about them. And then Polkadot under 20 seems to be a pretty good price. But right now, Bitcoins and crypto starting to make moves back today. So all well in crypto land, it seems like for now. And again, I think a lot of that has to do with obviously some positive sentiment coming from the NASDAQ. So as that starts to go, hey, that's what we have to watch out for. Watch out for crypto. And right now, it's even going higher and higher as we speak. Ethereum just took out 2,600. So all is well in crypto land, Brendo.
Yeah, we'll get into some of the crypto-related stocks as well. I mean, they're all up for 4 to 5%. Mara, Riot, I mean, take your pick. They all look very similar. A couple other noteworthy earnings reports out pre-market this morning. AT&T reported, not really doing much. This FFIV down huge. Their Q2 outlook was not good at all. I mentioned there was separate news for Hasbro. This was the note I saw. They expanded their relationship with Lucasfilms in the Star Wars licensing. So conveniently, that comes out the same morning they announced that they no longer have Frozen. So FFIV, there's AT&T, guys. A few other noteworthy names here on the earnings board.
This is why I love Brendan, because actually I was a little bit surprised that Hasbro was only down 2%, and that 100% explains the why. But FFIV got absolutely crushed in the aftermarket. Again, I wish there was more volume on this, because if you're looking for like the other end of the coin here on a bad earnings report, I didn't really see anything else that was quite that bad. And it's just sometimes where these things settle down in the aftermarket gives you a bit of a hint, and this got right back up to a 195. It's going to be SSR, and then you kind of peel back here and look at what the 195 area meant on the daily chart as terms of support. So, I see something like that, and usually I'm like, okay, well then I should be shorting this one off of that 195, that post-market area. But like I said, 30,000 shares. Like it's weird. Like there's so much that's actually doing a lot of volume in this pre-market. Like Microsoft's about to clear 2 million in pre-market volume. DraftKings is doing big volume. That's not even talking about NVIDIA, which is making moves up 4% here today. So as much as I was going to be looking at this when I saw the percentage move and looked at the chart, yeah, it's just not really, no volume, no moss, like not on Fed day. I want to see something that's actually moving, although the setup looks pretty good on FFIV here.
I'm just putting in, I need to get shorts for Rivian. So I was looking at Rivian short here, up to 65. Yesterday was a good trade for us through $60, broke down and hit to 58.50, and then we stopped about 58 bucks. So we'll see about Rivian today to the upside. I just think that, the daily chart's not going to show anything on Rivian. It's been really beat down. But hold on a second. Let me get the 20-minute chart, 20-period chart here. Yeah, it's still not showing that much. But up into here, 64, 65 is what we're looking at for Rivian into this area. I just think that, maybe we get a bounce back here today because of the NASDAQ. And that doesn't change anything for Rivian. It doesn't change anything for what the Fed's going to do. It doesn't change my opinion on if you're not making any money and you don't have any inventory, it's not going to be a good little run for you. The thing about it is, remember, people are willing to put their money in companies like Rivian when the market is at 0%. When money is free, you can afford to wait 5 years, something like that, for them to get their factories going, for them to get production, anything like that. But now, as rates start to increase, people say, well, look, I could put my money in a 2% bond. I can get X amount now from my lending side of things. So it's just like people don't want to sit in a project like a Rivian for that long. And I just feel like, at 0%, different story. But now that we start to get a raising interest rate environment, I just don't see too much value in parking your money or buying Rivian at these kind of levels until we see production, until we see, that big deal come, what I think is going to come from Amazon at some point. And, that's when we really get excited. And even when the deal comes from Amazon, how much money are they going to make on that deal, right? And so you have to, obviously Rivian, Lucid, all of these guys are looking for those big contracts. But at the same time, we need to see them on roads so that the consumer really gets excited about these names. So until that happens, I think that Ford, GM, they're going to eat these guys' lunch for the next couple years because, again, like I just said, Ford is going to put trucks and cars, and so is GM, so is Tesla, on the road. And if people like me, Neil, Brendan, we all want to switch over to EVs, well, you have to have one available to buy. So, when that happens, I really think that Ford, GM, Tesla, Volkswagen all have a leg up on all of these startups. And honestly, I just don't think that time is going to be friendly to these companies. So I'm a short until I start seeing some more upgrades like we did on DraftKings today and some reasons to buy these names. So right now, we still don't have shorts in our system for these names.
I just had to go pay for Lucid again.
I know. So Rivian anyways, it's sub a cent. It's like, I think it's maybe, or is it 3 cents? I don't know what it is, but yeah. Either way, it's irrelevant. So we'll take the short in Rivian, and that's my thesis on that.
Yeah, Elon promising an update, guys, on the Cybertruck in the call tonight for Tesla. He also said that he was driving a prototype around the Texas Gigafactory and said it was pretty cool. American Express, I wanted to point that out because huge day yesterday for AXP. Higher again today, couple of price target increases. Bank of America, to name one. There's DraftKings, Moderna, McDonald's. Nothing overly exciting on that side of the board today.
Yeah, so yesterday was crazy because you looked at it, American Express kept the upgrade today, the big earnings, and then it was doing nothing in the morning. It's just don't sleep on things if there's no liquidity sometimes, because the dip buy came in and it came in huge, but it was whippy. And this is the thing about 9:30 this week is liquidity is all over the place. The spreads will open up, but if you've got really good levels that you like, sometimes you just got to be able to step into it and then just take the trade anyways. Because I know I canceled bids on AXP. And look what you're seeing here. I know it's only up 2% here today, but the story is we're trading at 155 a couple of days ago, and we saw that price at the open. We saw 155 at the open yesterday, and now you're at 177. Right, you're gonna get really bottom to top. You're gonna get a 15% move on AXP after good earnings. It was giving you a price like that. It's crazy, and it goes right into these recent tops. So in the midst of a potential breakout here for American Express, they catch the upgrade. On a Fed day, it's when I'm not believing in extensions, it's hard to look at this breakout and say I want to do it again on a name that doesn't have volume. But if this gets sold off again, then there's almost no way that I shouldn't be testing back in the top end of the range here. Now, it's had some, 172 has been some pretty decent support. At least it was before on the way upside trying to break out that 177. So American Express kind of looking at that 70 to 72 level if it does come in here today, and especially if there's, one of those little vacuums at the open to try to pick it up.
Yeah, you guys know 2 days ago before the earnings, I talked about how much we liked AXP, so it's nice to see an upgrade there. I hope some of you guys bought that name. I prefer American Express. I talked about the bull case for that, traveling, reopening, just well-run company, doesn't really have too many dips in it. So I do like that name. And then the only name I was saying, I bought some CRM, I bought some in this dip. The only names I bought was SMH, CRM, and Palantir. We got Palantir at 12.05 actually, or 12.10 when it was dipping down there. So nice little move upside today for Palantir, another 5p on that one. You know, we bought some down here at 12 bucks. Some of these names just have to, if I believe in them, I have to buy them, right? And so as we start to go downside on a lot of these names, I feel like they're going to get overdone and pushed down. I don't know if it's going to be down for good or not. I don't know where the bottom is going to be on a lot of these names, but I think you got to pick something up. Just like AMD, I mean, I know Trader Pratt, I don't think he's bought any yet. He was talking to me yesterday, and I was like, bro, you got to pull the trigger at some point. And I said, buy Microsoft, and that was right after that report. I don't know if he got any, but he would have been able to get some at 280 or so. Hopefully he did. We'll ask him. He didn't, but we'll ask him. 110 anyways. This is another name, AMD. Like, you want to talk about, you might look at this and say, oh, that's just like a daily chart, right? This is like maybe 6 months we've pulled back this much. Yeah. This is 2 weeks right now. We were just at 150, guys, back on January 4th. So 3 weeks, I guess. And now you're all the way down to 110 here. So that's 40% down from its recent highs of 150 down to 108 here. And now you're getting a little bit of a bump up. I wrote down here on the sticky note for AMD that we wanted to look at right here, the sticky note, AMD. I really, really like to look at 117 in a perfect rally, and then 110 is where we have the long. So we'll put the sticky note up here. Please like it, retweet it, everything. The more people that see it, hopefully, the more these levels mean for somebody. But again, in a perfect world and a tank, we get 110 again, and that would be pretty sweet. We're only at 114. I mean, if you don't think AMD can come down to 110 on a plus 2% move, you're crazy. And then also, I don't mind this 1750 break if the NASDAQ keeps going. So that was sort of my rhetoric there. We've already seen 110. It was just literally last night was 110, and now you're up to 115 today. It's only 5%, 4 or 5% move up, right? So we'll see what happens here off the open. I don't mind taking this 115. However, just like how we crushed IBM. Remember IBM yesterday, guys, off earnings? So I feel like the same thing today for Microsoft. Yesterday, are my trades in here? No, that's the big move. No, they're not. So yesterday, we actually took some of this, right? This is what I was talking about yesterday. We took this 131 off the open as it busted through, and then it came all the way back in, and we were able to get long near these pre-market lows before absolutely destroying this for a $6 winner all the way to the high side. So we loaded up down here, and we didn't hold all of it. I mean, we hold like 10, 15, 20%. For the big move was 10%, but we got some out in here as well. So I think that the same thing could be true for Microsoft today as we look at that and a big beat. And that's why I wrote down on the sticky note that we're looking at like this 298 level. I wasn't sitting down here and prepared enough to punch this $300 level when it came through. So unfortunately, I wasn't here sitting down at 8 o'clock looking at this trade. So that would have been a great long for 300. I would have took that if I was here. But for 298, I think that's going to be a good long. Or maybe we can look back at 300 now. So the same kind of playbook for Softy today. That was my best trade yesterday with AMC, or with, well, AMC was a trade of the day, but with IBM. So I think that's what we're going to do with earnings.
Just one thing quickly. I saw some people saying this in the chat, and we don't have any issues with New York quotes. Like, I pulled up multiple symbols, and they were fine on our end, but there are reports of issues on the NYSE's end with quotes. So if you are having trouble, you're probably not alone viewing New York stocks. We don't have any issues. We can show everything. I was looking at Boeing and it looks fine to me, but we've seen it, and then there is that story out there. But just to check with your broker as always.
Yeah, hopefully it stays that way as well. Hopefully they can get that resolved. Was looking at some vaccine stocks as well. J&J, Moderna, both higher on the morning. J&J only 0.2 here. Moderna, though, up nicely. If I can flip over, there we go. 4.6% here for Moderna on an upgrade today. Some positive data on a fourth dose coming out, of course, for Moderna. Let's go to Arun and get his take on what to expect this morning. Nicely positive here, Arun, but all going to come down to 2 p.m. today.
It's all going to come down to 2 p.m. exactly. So the only way we can really set up for this is kind of be prepared that volume may taper off, even though the market's been a little volatile. Volume, relatively speaking, volume might taper off as we get into the day, maybe around after the European close. I imagine around lunchtime until 2 p.m. we might get a really quiet day. More quiet than we have in the past few days anyways. So for now, market's up. Looks like Microsoft made a nice little U-turn after its report yesterday. So here we are with the market shooting back up as well, taking out some interesting levels. 44.10 was the top end level I was looking at. That's gone. We're sitting at 44.15, 16 now. And I don't want to rush into a long. I do like the idea of a long. I just don't want to rush into it because I do think there's some resistance that we do have to worry about. So you have to kind of price the trade properly here. The stop I'm looking at is 43.80, but I do want to look for longs, but I want to see what's below 4,400 first. So regardless of the fact that we're sitting above 44.10, I want to see what's down below 4,400. If we can get down there, maybe move a few points underneath, come back in with some strength. At that point, that confirms your kind of long read. Is also gives you a much better risk reward ratio. So go for the long at that point. And then pretty much all the way from here until 45.50, there's pockets of resistance, which kind of prevents you from finding any read for the short side, at least from the way I trade it anyways. So that's the only read I've got is that long off that 43.80, and we got to get a conditional buy below 4,400 to kind of activate that long. Apart from that, be patient. You got 2 p.m. excitement coming through. That's going to definitely move the markets. This is something that the market's been looking forward to. So a lot of people positioning in front of as well. And after we get that information, they're going to kind of make some projections of position after as well. So you're going to see some excitement from 2 p.m. until the close. So wait for that. If you don't see anything that sets up perfectly within your risk parameters, I think just wait it out and see if something else sets up later on in the day, because there's no point in rushing on a day like today. We've had some crazy days for the last little bit now. If the market needs to take a break and kind of settle down, I think you should follow that and as well kind of settle down a little bit, wait for your right trades, and then once you get them, just take your shot then.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. Yeah, good point. A lot of this has been worked in already over the past week or so, but we'll see what happens coming up, as he said, at 2 p.m. this afternoon. Here we go. Let's get into what is moving around in the pre-market this morning, guys. If you're in need of the watch list, that is the link. We send it out every single morning for free before we come on at 8:30. Miss V will help you out in the chat with that if you do need that link. Obviously, Microsoft going to be top of the list. It was the big one after market yesterday. Again, the initial sell-off came before that forecast. The cloud forecast was the big number, though, that brought this thing back to positive, guys.
That is worth saying, because if you look at the actual growth, like the report itself, like it was slowing growth in Azure, right? Like it's still, look, it's impressive, and the numbers are always going to blow you away, considering a company that big has the kind of growth that it does, and it generates the kind of cash flow that it does. It's always going to be impressive, and you go googly eyes when you see some of the numbers. But it was that forward guidance sort of reassuring in the market there, and you got that snap around. And we talk about stink bids, but like that's what ended up working, and I think stink bidding is the way to go here today. I mean, of course. Whatever. Now it's like 6% and breaking to 306 here, but I still think it's got to be a stink bid. And I think you'd mentioned that 298 level, Sean. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of thinking, so when I look back at this, I sort of say to myself, it's almost good to 95, 96. And so, like, if it gets down to that price and it's that wide of a gap between 300 and 95, because I'm not holding $5 against me, if it goes down there, it's got to be 2 or 3 different swings. So the first one would probably be off 300, and then I go to the midpoint, and then I would go to the 95 level, and probably try and take 3 swings at a consolidation. And the further it claws away from that, I think the crazier the snapback might be, or at least trying to catch it, and it just continues to run here. And I don't mind not taking a breakout. I know Sean said not taking the breakout when he sat down. That has to do with over the last 2 or 3 months, the pre-market breakouts have not been the best strategy in the world. Like these things go in ebbs and flows, and pre-market breaks just haven't paid as well as they were like 6 months ago. So I don't mind not getting it. Like I was looking at a pre-market break of Vinco Ventures that I didn't take at 360 because I'm just not really doing those pretty much anymore, unless it's on some crazy low floater that I just think might run into halts or go completely crazy. And with these other ones, allow it to settle down at the open and hopefully come back in here for you. I mean, so many stocks just went to the highs and turned right. Like again, NVIDIA just double topped 234, so things are getting spicy up at the top here.
Yeah, look, I just added BBIG Vinco Ventures 370 break to the sticky note. So watch out for Vinco Ventures going crazy here, 7 million shares. We're going to see if it takes out 370 here to the high side. So that we're going to add that to our board, a pretty easy trade here. I have someone messaging me about dark pool trading. So that's what I was responding to on my DMs. Get in, what do they say? Get into your DMs or something like that. Okay, so Microsoft right now, we're gonna find out right here what we're talking about. 305 and change. I mean, it's crazy that I'm not long 300. I know what Neil's talking about, but I like that psychological break of 300, especially into crazy volume, 2.4 million shares already done today. I should be long $300. It's crazy that I'm not right now, but like I said, I wasn't sitting here and prepared to do that. Was working on the note, grabbing coffees, was late today to come to work, and that's going to be a problem. So that 300 should be in the account right now, and it's not, so I hate that. But hopefully it gives us a chance to get long at that level one more time. So I'm going to bid down here near 300 if it comes through, great. And then we do have 298. We're going to try to do the IBM trade on this thing today. Again, the problem is if 298 breaks, like, you know, that top from yesterday, 295, the whole point is, what just happened? That's Intel all the way back down. Damn it. This is on the sticky note.
But they don't report till they're tonight, though. That's
yeah, no, I'm not. It was just the EU. I thought, and again, like Intel can't get out of its own damn way, man. I know you like Intel, and I don't mind Intel at these levels, and it's actually held up good compared to, well, whatever, it bounces around. Like,
it's a different kind of name.
I know, and it's just like, I thought that the EU, they just saved themselves, well, whatever, the decision, I guess, was reversed, 1.2 billion euros, 1.5 billion USDs or so for Intel on the decision today, but we just got long here. Why isn't my trade showing up here on Intel? There we go, fills and fills. There we go, that's why, okay. Intel long right here into this level. It's on the sticky note back to 51.50, so we're gonna see if we can grab that long. But as far as Microsoft is concerned, man, I mean, this is gonna be a great name to trade today. I'm super bullish. I don't see any reason why anyone would necessarily sell this name. The only thing I'm thinking is you're up 5%. So if you are bearish into this market, this is a great opportunity to sell out of some of the Microsoft that you maybe have bought down here. Everybody's pretty much underwater on Microsoft right now, unless you were buying in the last couple days. And if you were, are you really going long at 290 and selling at 304? Probably not. So I think that Microsoft gives us an opportunity to buy. Remember, it's in every single major ETF. Most indexes are well weighted with Microsoft. So if the NASDAQ does fall down here, I think Microsoft follows. And again, if you're going to sell any name today, why not sell some of your Microsoft because it's up that 6%. So that's the theory there for it coming back down. I want to be here defending 298, but I'm going to use these moving averages to make sure that we trade at least around VWAP. And if we get too far away from that, then we have to analyze that a little bit more. But right now, long Intel.
All right, worth noting before we move on, we'll also, for anyone on this side of the border, on the Canadian side of the border, we'll also get a Bank of Canada interest rate decision today. At 10 a.m., we'll get a Bank of Canada interest rate decision. No one is expecting any move from the Bank of Canada, but quarter point coming most likely for us as well. Let's go on to Boeing. That's the chart. Had a huge move down, right back up. About $10 or so range on that in the pre-market. It was pretty crazy. They said they took a $3.5 billion charge related to the Dreamliner in the quarter, and then we're still cash flow positive, which is pretty impressive for Boeing. So back to positive here today.
Yeah. Obviously, that's going to result in a miss, but the good news, of course, like you said, cash flow positive. But there was just a question, Josh D33 asking what a stink bid is. I'll let you. Here's the stink bid. Boeing's reporting earnings in the morning. They're at $208. The low from yesterday is like a 198 with a higher low at a 199.50. So putting a stink bid in would be like just sort of bidding at 200, saying, I like the stock, I want to pick it up. And maybe when the news drops, if it happens to be negative, you get scooped up and you're buying in front of support, but it's at an improbable price. I'm only saying it doesn't seem improbable because it's actually happened on Boeing, but I'm just making the example of what it would be. And that was sort of the thing. Like 280 was a level on Microsoft on the daily. And when it broke that, the next support was at that 70 level. It ends up bouncing right off of it. But if in the moment, it's difficult. Sometimes it's a difficult thing to catch. Like in Boeing, it was right back in a couple of minutes. So you almost need to have that fill. And it happens at 9:30. It happens after earnings. Sometimes you just leave it in there like for swings or long terms because it's a price you want to buy, and you get scooped up one day in the midst of a panic. But Boeing. Obviously, the initial reaction when they to this was on the miss, right? So the EPS miss causes the move to the downside, then start digesting the fact that you had that one-time charge and that there was a cash flow positive, and you're getting right back up to these tops. This is not the name I'm looking to go long breakout on in Boeing here today. The level sets up, and you look at this 210, 210.50 or so, and if I think we're going to have trouble extending, then overall Boeing has been a bit of a sleeper. Like I think gets, like I said the last time we talked about the stock, it gets a little bit more exciting when it breaks and holds some higher levels of support. Like break one of these levels, which is right now 210, 210.5. Hold it, maybe close there a couple of days above, and then things get a little more interesting. So it's more of a settle down trade for me. It does have the setup for a failed break and then a rollover, right? Like it's anytime I'm going to see something like this where the initial reaction was that much of a bid drop, if it were to try to test through the top, not get through that 210.50 that we just showed on the 15-minute chart, and then come right back in, like that would be re-entry between 9 and 10, stop at 210.50, and then you'd be rolled into a short. So like that setup is there for Boeing at 9:30. Although there's a lot to be watching at 9:30. You could be trading some Zila today. Zila probably didn't make the watch list, but after the volume and movement yesterday, up another 25%, 100%, I'm going to be trading it just quickly because I don't know if we're going to get a chance to cover it, and some people have asked about it. I got in and out just a scalp trade, but it sold at 75 cents in the pre-market top. 77 is the big level on the 15-minute chart, so it has stalled at the next obvious level. I'm looking at the lower high for the first chance to maybe short it, and then I take it off the 75 even. If I grab along at any point in Zila, I'm kind of looking at the 65 to 69 band. I had to check my notes because I'm like, 65? Why did I like that? So I was looking at the higher time frame charts, but 65 is a level that I'm going to like, and I'd probably be scalping that into 69. So there are levels where I'd look to maybe pick some up. That's got to be down at 65. Otherwise, I'm either fading off this consolidation or at the top. So two separate shots I'd take in Zila.
Ford is ripping here. Just looking at, we can look at Ford quickly. Back up to 21 bucks. Nice day for Ford today. Up another 5% on getting cracked back down to 19.50 yesterday. You want to talk about something? I mean, I'm already loaded up into Ford, as you guys know, well loaded into that. But look at this area yesterday, and like, can't believe you got some opportunities to buy some Ford right back in here in 1975. I mean, what a great opportunity that was. And now today you're right back trying to test that 50 period one more time on F. The big boy is in the building. We love Ford. We love some GM. I love Ford much more than GM. But I don't know. I've been selling some Ford. I hope I'm not more into GM right now than I'm in Ford. I haven't sold too much of the GM, which has been fine. It's still moving upside. So, well, not still. It's not near its highs, but Ford and GM both down about that 20% from their highs. GM's high was, or sorry, Ford's high was about 25 or 26 bucks or so. So you're down to 21. So yeah, I guess 15% down. Here's the imbalances right now is what we're trying to talk about. Nia, you started this show talking about some kind of Chinese EVs as well with the EV space. NIO up nicely today, up that 4% on a Singapore possible listing as well instead of Hong Kong. There's Palantir right there, 124, which is a nice bid. We've already talked a little bit about that. We'll try to catch some Palantirs on dip buys. But other than that, there's really nothing on here. Pfizer, XOM. We wait for 925 for the NASDAQ to come through. I don't have much to say about Boeing. I hold Boeing, and it's not a heavy position of mine. We'll wait to see where Boeing goes from here. But I don't know. I think a buy at 200, something like that, probably fine. They've taken that charge, and now we'll see. But there is still some headwinds with the 737, so that needs to get all sorted out. But for me, I'm going to look at tech today. I'm going to step aside from Boeing.
Hey guys, welcome everyone who just joined us. I remind you to like this video, team. It's going to be an interesting day, and we are super glad that you are with us today. And I remind you that our goal for today is 3,000 likes, and they need just 100 more to 1K. So please make sure you like this video, and let's go back to Brandon.
Yeah, let's continue along. We have a few to get through here. We'll go to the chip sector. It's worth noting anyone watching Boeing, the CEO on CNBC currently, so heads up if you are watching Boeing. Chip stocks, I mean, Intel aftermarket tonight, that's going to be the big one. A lot of strength in these, midday into the latter part of yesterday, but they did fade off a bit here heading into the close.
I actually didn't realize what NVIDIA did after market because we were looking at Microsoft at the time, and it's like NVIDIA went from 230. I mean, I know Tesla did 950 to 900, but NVIDIA went 230, broke that 220 level, which was gold in the afternoon or at lunchtime, broke it, and then gaps right back into the V-shaped top at 234. So when I told you guys a couple seconds ago that or a couple of minutes ago that NVIDIA had a double top, that's today, this morning off 234, but that's also the same high that it put in here. So look, just when you're looking at breakouts, you've got to consider that if this kind of a level does a failed break, like this is what your chart looks like. If I pull it even further back, just give an idea where NVIDIA's come from. I guess my 15 doesn't go back further. But look at the daily chart on NVIDIA here. Like, look where this has come from. The last consolidation drop took you through a low of 270, and that top was like a 290. So 270 to 290 channel. And now you're looking at a potential break at a 35, and that's been a clean trend into the downside there. So if you get a failed break through this price and we immediately retrace it, you've got to watch out. There is so much room below here on that. So you've got to have stops on your longs. You can't hold on to breakout trades forever. This one sets up really, really well, but it's already up 4.5%. And again, on a Fed day, that is a lot to ask for it to go further, but it's just like I pretty much can't ignore it. Like, I'm likely to get a 334 print if it breaks it at the open, and then just say to myself, okay, if it cannot go, I'll give it about $1, and if it does not go immediately and start working, I'm gonna have to get out of it. Because much like the other day when we were shorting on some of the lows and they worked out, I was not willing to get trapped at the bottom. I was gonna be cautious about it. So I don't want to get caught in this trap. But NVIDIA 234, like, I'm not gonna be able to ignore that level too hard. And if I'm looking for the rollover, I guess it does set up for the rollover. I kind of liked it a little bit better on Boeing, I suppose, but it would set up for that same reversal into the other direction. I just find keeping it to one direction per stock has worked a little better for me. When I've tried to go both ways on a big cap, it's not as easy as doing it on one of those small caps where, you know, it's a little bit easier liquidity-wise to get in and out within a couple of cents. That's not the way that NVIDIA is going to trade here, but 234 is the level.
Yeah, I was, yesterday was not in NVIDIA, but we were very, very patient. We made some money early on AMD on some of these dips, and then we let it fall down, and then we hit it down here and took it to the long side. So AMD was a great trade for us yesterday. I think it was $4 or $5 again to the upside. No, this was $2 or $3. It was IBM was the big one there yesterday, and there was one other one. Facebook, it was. Facebook and IBM were both the $4 or $5 movers. This one was a couple bucks to the upside off of this dip down. We still want to look at these levels, man. 110, 111 to come through today on AMD. I kind of feel like we're in a little bit of a retail bull trap, maybe. I saw someone mention that on the chat, and I do agree right now today, because honestly, it's like everybody today coming in thinking that they've missed the bottom. I mean, maybe you have. I don't know. I called the bottom a little while ago, or 2 days ago. Seems to have been right, but we still have earnings coming. There's still lots to happen here, so let's wait to see what happens with AMD today. And I don't want to get too, super excited about this 115 level. That's why I was really, really hoping that a pie in the sky level, maybe of this 117 up here comes through, 117, 117.50, because therefore we have the rally in the market, and I don't mind hitting it on that. But I'm not going to take this pre-market high of 115. There's no way. I just, that's happened too many times. We've hit the top and then it's come back in. So for me on AMD, it's on my sticky note right here. And I have, again, on this note, 110 long I have here and 117 as the top. So we'll see if you get anything back down to 110. Obviously, we'll be buying. We're a buyer in here somewhere, 111, 112. So let's see if it comes through. We'll have to watch the market. And then, of course, you already know I'm long. I hope you can. Yep, okay, good. It's on the board right there. So we're already long Intel here off of that little dip in. So I like this name. It's only up 1%, which is, I don't understand. I think there's some good news behind Intel today. I know Intel's not as loved by the trading community as the other names, which is maybe why we're down that 1%. But again, they're making some moves. So let's see if Intel can't do something here. Intel's only $51, man. I mean, Intel's the same price it was at like 4 years ago or something. So, I mean, it's been a dead stock for a very long time. I think at some point it starts to react properly. And that's not why I'm in this. I'm in it because of the news today and because we have these 51 bottoms. So let's see if Intel tests down here near 51. The 20-minute chart gives us these 50 bottoms. You see, I mean, is the news as bad as it was a couple days ago? No. So we should not retest 50 today. So we're going to use 50-50 as our bottoms and the ultimate bottom of $50. So we'll average into this trade, but you know, our next trade probably near 51, then near 50-50. I'm not going to die on Intel. I don't really like the stock that much, but I think as an opportunity to day trade it today, because it's so weak against everything else. I mean, what is SMH even up today? You know, probably that 1% or a little bit more than that. Yeah, even SMH is up 2.5%, right? So Intel definitely the lagger today. Normally I don't trade those, but I think we're at some key levels for Intel. I don't know why it's only up 1%.
Let's talk about EV stocks here. We can touch on Tesla if you want, guys. Obviously, earnings. The big story for Tesla, we'll get an update on the Cybertruck apparently from Elon, who, as I said, was driving a prototype around Gigafactory, Texas yesterday and thoroughly enjoyed it, apparently, according to him. NIO, though, NIO, interesting story Sean was mentioning there, yeah, considering apparently a Singapore secondary listing versus Hong Kong. Because of all of the regulatory issues that would come along with Hong Kong.
Man, Neil's like the daily chart of Neil's not a pretty one. It's been getting absolutely beaten up. I think that's not necessarily gigantic news, but I can be proven wrong. We talked about with Rivian and Lucid. Lucid levels for me at like 37, 38 to 32, 38.25 are going to be the keys, and paid for the shorts so we can be able to fade those if we get failed breaks at either one. Tesla, this is a name like this is different from Microsoft, man. Like I almost don't care what. It's not that I don't care what happens on earnings. The market reaction to Tesla, its valuation is vastly different from any other big tech names. It's in a stratosphere on its own, and so the amount that it could pull back in is just it's a different beast, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If Tesla got back to the 200 period here, I would not be shocked. If Tesla broke the 50. I would not be shocked. That's a lot of volatility and potential that it has, and it's a pure sentiment play because valuation does. I think it matters this year. It hasn't mattered a ton to Tesla until recently when it was getting off of those highs at that 1,200, and that's when everything else was pulling back in. So I think this is going to be the big bellwether this week. It's what happens with the biggest name when you're talking about multiple contraction. And then, of course, it's the biggest options name as well. So the volatility should be absolutely through the roof on Tesla. I'm not looking to touch this unless it's at an absolute rock of a level like 900 or 980. In between, forget about like skimming around there. I'm not even going to bother with it. Lucid's the one I think I'm going to be trading today in the EV space. Like I said, I think we mentioned yesterday, 37 obviously sits right here. That's that top from yesterday, 37. But there's also the 38 to 38 quarter area, which couldn't get broken out. So pop and fade definitely in play. My trades aren't really showing up. I wasn't able to hold on to it in the pop and fade in yesterday's action. I got shaken out. I learned my lesson on GameStop a couple of days ago and was able to successfully trade that the next day. So I'm going to go Lucid here. And if it does that same move, this is the one I'm going to be trading in the EV space.
Cryptocurrencies here. I'm just tweeting out right now, guys. If you want to, let's have a little bit of a party here on this. We'll go over to my Twitter and have a look. So I bought some Solana and some Cardano. I got filled on some Cardano today during this recent dip. Did not pick up more ETH or BTC. What is everybody else doing right now? So maybe we can put that in here, and you guys can let us know what kind of names you guys are buying. There's a lot of talk on the chat about Matic. There's a lot of talk about DOT, Polkadot. So if you guys want to hit it up, man, at Trader TV, Sean, let's discuss. Already 5 likes, thanks. Let's discuss, you know, what we're trading here on these crypto dips. There are going to be opportunities to buy, and the reason why I think about that is you just talked about Tesla, and I talked about, you know, one of the biggest crypto bulls, or used to be anyways, Elon Musk out there tweeting obviously about Dogecoin and about a few other coins. So we'll see if those ones want to go. Look, for me, I already went on a little bit of a rant, not a rant, but I talked a little bit about Rivian there already today. I still think that this name is not strong. It won't be strong for a bit. I think it's going to take, you know, probably a year. I don't want to give a timeline. I'll have to do some more research before we decide about that. But I still think a short into this area, if we can get a 64, 65, 66 area, somewhere like that, I think that that's definitely worth a bid. So, worth a sell into that area. So if they bid it up to 64, 65, I'm going to be sitting there short. I'm already waiting at 63.50 to go short on Rivian, and then again, even higher than that. So I still like Rivian to the short side. NIO, you started with, Brendan, that was like beat up like crazy. crazy here in the dip. I mean, we fell through some pretty key levels here, and considering the fact that, you know, they do have production, they do have vehicles, everything should be rocking and rolling for NIO. They're selling, everything is fine with NIO. They're not, I mean, they're a startup, but not really. They're actually producing quite a bit of vehicles. So I like NIO down here. I am worried, obviously, about the China factor and, you know, what all that means. I don't really want to get in this messy, where are they going to list? Are they getting delisted? Are they going back to China? Are they going to Hong Kong? Are they going to list in Singapore? That's the news today. So, I mean, I don't really want to play it off the news, but I do like this stock. I mean, a psychological level of 20, we're not too far away from that. I think that definitely gets bought up if you're anywhere around there. And we already know the CCP when it was down here. It's a funny story because I believe Greg, and we can talk, I mean, this might have been Greg's biggest miss, and it's not about that, it's all of us. I think he was long NIO, like,
he was
sub $5 or something.
It was ridiculous. Yeah, it was really good. I remember.
Hey, Greg.
I think he
must have his headphones on.
around.
No one pays attention around here. I'll message him and find out. But it was just because there was a lot of opportunities here for NIO, and it's just like, I don't know, we could get back down here. I'll take a look at this near $20. But anyways, NIO is an exciting stock, and we'll look at that today. Just quickly before we go to Brennan, throw on the inbounds locator here. 1.2 million, the biggest and the baddest of the EVs, still keeps going with Ford. I say that kind of tongue in cheek. NIO's there as a buy. Remember, what was it, 2 days ago? Everything on here was an S. Well, now everything is a B except for GFI. So right now, everything is a buy. We don't have the NASDAQ up yet, but when that comes through, I expect a multitude of buys in the NASDAQ space as well. So there we go. Bye-bye, GFI. Now it's gone. Now B for Brendan's over here. So that's always a good sign. And we'll throw it over to the board with Big B.
Who even knows what GFI is?
Yeah, Ford top of the list there, looking pretty good. BBIG, another B, back to the upside today. Remember, 28.5% short interest on BBIG. That was the last reading I had. Go out to a daily chart. 4 is the big level, in my opinion, anyways. I just took this for a trade to see what happens here at the open, but 370 is the top, and then has room all the way to 4. If it does get up to 4, I'll revisit it there. But BBIG, definitely very active volume-wise so far, guys.
Yeah, I mean, the only slight difference I have is it's a 380 level that I was looking at, and it's already stalled at 75 here, and the 380 goes back to previous floor, previous resistance. I don't want to chase this one too far. I am on the offer since it broke that 360 because that was a decent level, but I didn't catch it here. I didn't catch it there. If it pops in at the open, obviously I'm going to have a tighter stop around 65 just in case it tests what I think like 380 level. I think it's short at least until that price, and I just got into Zila in front of that 72. So multiple places I want to take this one. 72 is the first stop. The second one will be 75 to 77 that we mentioned. And we talked with only 4 minutes to go. Let's review some names here. Ooh, dark pool prints already. Microsoft actually just bounced off of 303, so headed right back towards the upside. And we talked a little bit about the chip names. NVIDIA, which made a triple top there, double top, I should say, on the way to making a triple top at 234. And going back to one that is usually on the radar, up 5%, DWAC. So, I mean, Microsoft brings DWAC up too. I don't know, maybe. But it has a very similar setup to all these other names. Like here is a top at $74 that I just think if this breaks that price, it's trying to get back into the 80s, but I've been shorting pops on DWAC. So I'm looking at 74. Pre-market highs are at 73 today. So I am looking a little bit higher than the current high in case I want to get a bit of a short. So I would let it break the current high of the day before thinking about getting into DWAC, Digital World Acquisition. No news from them. Like it's nothing that they're up to 4.5%. There's no specific news on this name. And then if you haven't guessed, I am looking at a firm. Someone asked me, am I shorting a firm today? Again, this is another one. It has to come to the price that I want. I'm not about trying to grab it into here. I think the level's 59 for me. So if it does make a spike into that price, notice what I'm looking to fade at the top is either something with mixed earnings like a Boeing or something which I think is under a little bit more pressure like in a firm, like going all in and trying a rollover trade. Even if I'm stink bidding Microsoft, doesn't mean I want to short Microsoft at the top. And I think a similar thing would go for NVIDIA. And obviously, those could reverse. And then maybe we've missed out on the opportunity, but for me, it's like DWAC, it's Lucid, it's the firm. Those are the names I'm looking for the rollover trade on that aren't small caps.
Okay, yeah, so we're going to look for AMC as well to the downside here. We'll see if we get some, some of my trades are here. Oh yeah, there it is. So this is what happened yesterday for the trade of the day was AMC. We were able to get this crazy bid down here to 1560 on that debt news. So I don't think we'll get that again, but I still want to look at some of those levels down here near 16. We tried a long late, which was fine, which we worked on and made money, then got out on VWAP. So that's another name that we're looking at. And then we're about to ring the bell. There's only a minute and a half to go right now. DraftKings, again, another name, a great move to the upside here. We wrote it down on the sticky note that we'd like to look at near 20 bucks. That's a pretty key level, so we do have some stink bids down there near 20. I actually had one at 20.50. I'm going to cancel that. We'll see about if we can get it a little bit lower into 20 bucks or so for DraftKings. Again, if the NASDAQ falls, DraftKings falls. There's no doubt about that, but at the same time, it looks like the NASDAQ's trying to get a bid again. And look, like I'd say that I don't like Intel all the time, and then here I am, the only position I'm in is Intel. So we'll wait to see if this one comes back in, and it's getting near those levels that we liked. We actually wrote down here that we liked 51, so that we would start it at 51.50. So we're doing what we're doing here. We'll start this down here near 51, and we do have a 50-50 area down here as well that we can look at. That was kind of the bottom into yesterday, 50-50, but this is not good for Intel whatsoever. Another negative move.
It's unbelievable, Lucid. Lucid just it did this yesterday, and then I just completely bungled the trade because it made the push instead of trying to give you a short off the top. It makes a push down right before the open, and then I miss out on it. Then I tried shorting it a little bit too low, and then ended up getting caught and stopping out too tight. So I'm not going to make that mistake. I'm not moving my offer. I want short in front of that 37. But once again, it's like the thing I was looking at in the EV space looks like it's going to run away from me up at the bottom. I did get into Vinco Ventures very quickly. Wanted to short that one into the open. Miss V is on the bell. There she is. Black is the new green. We'll see today on Fed Day. Yep. Well, we're not getting rates aren't going to change, but we'll see what happens at 2, 2 and 1. Ring it.
Alrighty then, we are now open and ready to rock and roll. We'll watch out for some Intel. You got to watch these markets open up. Let's go over to Microsoft quickly as the NASDAQ opens up instantly every day. We don't have to wait for a print. Wow, 307 right now for Softy as that name just keeps on motoring to the upside. No love for me for Softy yet. We just touched 308, 309 in the pre-market. Talk about a monster win here for Softy. We do average in and we get that 50-80 bid there on Intel, not AMD. So we'll have to watch out for that. We are long right now, Intel. Let's see if it wants to continue to climb up. This could be a big one for me, but we are watching that as the NASDAQ's starting to rock. It sucks because the NASDAQ's rocking and Intel's not doing anything.
And here comes, give me so close, so close. 36.90 just came on Lucid. I was sitting maybe like 5 pennies above that price. I might adjust it by 5 cents or so, but I'm not going to move it by a ton. I just got 2 fills in small cap land. One of them was getting out at 72, which is the first level on Zeal, so in 71, out 72 for a penny hit, and then got filled on the bid on Vinco Ventures. But I got to get over to Vinco because there is a 900,000 share bid on 340. Check that. Massive bid here. I just got some out in front of it, but 900,000 shares there. NVIDIA is going to do that failed break, but I wanted to make sure I showed you guys, well, maybe it's a failed break, but showed you guys, oh no, you didn't see it on the level 2. You got to trust me. That was on Boeing for some reason, and it's not flipping. But there was that massive bid that's still there on Vinco Ventures. I'll have to manually make this change here on BBIG. That's kind of a pain in the butt. Where we go, there we go, there we go. It's down to 750,000 shares or so, but trust me, we're right there at 340. Massive buyer there. And I said NVIDIA would be a relatively tight stop. It goes up, it tries to break out, and then it's going to come right back into this 2233 range and try to hold. This feels like it's a bit of a trap. I'm going to give it like that 2-3 count. 5-10 seconds, that kind of an idea. If it can hold this bid above 33, fine. But if it reclaims that bottom on liquidity, I'm just going to get in and out very quickly on NVIDIA, it looks like.
All right, so we have good trade on NVIDIA.
Nah, it's going to end up being a hit. Like, actually, you could have had a slight win. I didn't take it. I'm just getting in and out quickly. I could have had $1, but I didn't take the $1 on the way up.
Yeah, the market's fading out. That's what I was wondering here because right now you're talking Intel, or I'm talking Intel, you're talking NVIDIA. So we just took out some of our Intel there for a nice trade. We are into a new trade right now, Rivian. Come on, Rivian. I'm sitting at 63 even. Let's go. Maybe we get this bid, maybe we don't. But a nice little tank city here for Rivian. We waited for that price to come through. There it is. Did we? No, we did not get filled there. Did we? No, we did not. So, it's testing lower. There it is. Yes, sir. What a good trade there for Rivian. in. So starting through the money there. A quick dollar there on Rivian. Short 64, out 63. So right there, clean. It's actually 85 cents on that move. As you could start to see the NASDAQ coming back in right now. So let's go over to, again, Microsoft and just see what they're doing. Okay, 303. So here we come. Coming down into some of these bids. We are starting to cross over to the downside right now. Some of these levels starting to get hit to the downside. Let's see if a 300 defends itself. We did not. We talked about not getting into Microsoft early. That's going to look like that's going to be the right call here for that. So let's wait to see where Softy goes from here. But right now it's to the downside.
Yeah, and of course, so Zila goes up to the first level, take the stop out. It makes the curl right at 75. As I'm managing the NVIDIA trade, it starts to roll over. I'm going to go right back to the 70. This is what I was looking for. Obviously, I'm not going to catch it. I'll start it here because I want to be getting in at an average price of 70 to 71. I have to taper how many shares I can take at that 69 level and then try to round it off in front of that 72. But this is what I meant about taking it out and then trying to curl off the high. You can see how quickly that came in. And of course, Lucid's going to do it to me again. Like, it goes right up, and I'm trying to be patient with it. I'm trying to get a good price and not bungle it like yesterday. And of course, I'm going to end up with no shorts. It's about the plan of action, but not getting the execution is going to burn me. Lucid was the one that I wanted on that curl. And you can see, shaken out of Zila, that buyer on Vinco Ventures, still there. I would have added to this position were it not for that buyer. If I see it on the bid again, I might take a break of 340 if it goes. You know what? It's gone. That guy's gone. So there's no bid at 340. I'm not going to get any more shares out at 340. I'll be shorting pops on this. I guess I will.
Okay, guys. Yeah, so far so good here today. We did have, I know you missed that Lucid, but we do have Rivian, which is a nice trade for us. We didn't cash it out all the way down here. We could have got out again. Maybe we'll do that one more time. It's trying to bounce off here. NASDAQ with a big move down. Thank you, Miss V, for that one. But, okay, let's move that out of the way. Rivian, we still want to take that short. Intel's just been sort of back and forth here. We do have that bid, low bid. That was a starter position down there. We still got to hold, what the heck? We still got to wait for this to come down here. Intel's making the move down, and so is Rivian. Rivian just breaking right now through 63. Let's see if we can get like a 62 bid now on RIVN, especially if this market does fade out. Was that a call for Brendo?
It was indeed, until our app froze, guys. Penn, we talked about DraftKings. Here's Penn as well. There was another positive note on Penn National as well, so up 5%, worth noting.
Yeah, I mean, Lucid's now breaking $36. So, like I said, I'm not chasing it. It's not going to happen, and it is what it is. And then the curl on Boeing, it needed to test 209. Another name that sometimes patience pays, and other times you get a little bit too picky with the prices. It's going to be fine. Like, Boeing's now down 1.7%. So, like, the two names that I wanted to curl, I'm not going to get either one of them. I did, like I said, I'm in Zila and BBIG, the small cap names, but elusive, these big caps. DWAC, which is the other name that we're looking at, actually reverses as well, and it's the same story. I'm sitting here in front of 74 at 73.50. It goes to 73.30 and then drops $3. So if I sound frustrated, it's because I'm kind of frustrated. Like, I missed. It's like I'm Maxwell Smart this morning. I missed it by that much.
Yeah, I hate when that happens. That happens too often to the best of us. So don't worry about that. But I always complain about it as well, and it sucks when it does happen. But your boy. We got that. We got Rivian. We talked about it right here, guys, and it's on the sticky note as well. Rivian short, if you're watching the sticky note today, it should be a good one because we have the Rivian short on here up to $65 right now on the sticky note. So it's at Trader TV Sean. Take that if you want it short up to 65. We also love the DraftKings long, but unfortunately, that is gone. So congratulations to Trader Prad. I know he is long DraftKings. I don't think at these prices, a little bit higher, but you can see right now, DraftKings nicely done, up 10% off that Morgan upgrade. We were waiting down here, and it's funny because I had a 2060 bid. Now, I probably wouldn't have got filled, but I canceled it because of the movement in the pre-market. I thought we were going to get that lower bid, but that doesn't come through. So DraftKings right now off to the races. Let's hold the Rivian. Finally, Intel starting to go back to the upside. We can hold this one as well. Let's take a quick look on AMD. And all I'm doing, guys, oh, okay, that only went to 113. Is I'm just going over my levels and making sure to see if anything is coming near some of these levels that we like. But there's AMD right back down to pre-market lows. That probably should have got taken as well.
Yeah, and there goes Vinco. It broke that 340 level immediately down to 330. I actually tried to get shares when it broke that 340. I didn't catch them there. Obviously, Vinco Ventures, it's up 10%, but it's been coming off all morning. Starting to really fade in. 330 was a pretty key level on the daily chart, but I'm getting some out 340, 330. actually, I mean, if you can't guess, I'll probably put a bid at in front of 320 as well as that continues its rollover. Looks like that one's going to be a fade probably to $3 at this point. And then Zila, which we talked about to the 65 area, that's starting to fall off as well. So get stopped out early, do not get the top curl, but then we got back into it in front of that 70 level. Now you're seeing it come back to 67, 66. 65 is the first level I'd be looking to defend for any kind of a long idea there. I mean, we'll go and I'm really not that happy about it, but we'll ring the register on Zila and Vinco Ventures. And I forgot to mention this name, one of the strongest names in the market the last couple of days. Macy's puts in a big move. So you're talking about a curl. This is your 50 period on Macy's. This was the wick breakout to that 28 level, and then Macy's rejecting as well. But this might have some support back at 26 and a quarter. So this retail name has been super, super strong. So you got to be watching Macy's. If it can catch a bid, you always know with the short potential there, it has squeeze possibilities.
Yeah, tons of possibilities with Macy's. We've seen that happen before. And look at Rivian. It just touched down to 61.30 there, giving us a monster short. We're already short at 64. Let's see if this cashes in. I was debating like getting out at 62.50. It's just right now the spread, like when it breaks, it's pretty open, like right there. Like it's 30 cents there on Rivian, the spread. So very, very spready right now. Let's see if Microsoft can hold the bid though. Intel, what a good move for Intel. Let's go on that one, man. Flying through here as Intel now 50 cents in the money on that one as well. Is AMD near that 117.50? No, it is not. We are still near day's low. And normally I'm looking at those things, but not today, man. Like, I don't know where this market's going to go. If anything, you might want to punch short. Look at that. $2 now in the money for the Diamond Hand Man over here on Rivian. $2 plus now in the money on RIVN. What a good day so far. We only have 2 trades on Intel and Rivian, and then AMC we'll look at as well. But right now, let's go over to Brendo.
Just watching Robinhood, guys. They're just saying their Bitcoin wallet beta test has begun, but no reaction to the stock yet. 0.8. Still for Robinhood.
They didn't do Bitcoin at Robinhood. They don't?
No wallet.
What do you mean wallet? What does that mean? You could hold Bitcoin, right?
I mean, you can trade it. You've always been able to trade it. It's whether or not you can actually hold it in a secure. Again, I don't know. I was about to say if it was up.
I don't even know what that story means. So
I was going to fade it if it was up on that story. That was the first thing that came to my mind. You said Robinhood. I was like, oh, maybe it's something popping that I can short. And of course it isn't. So yeah, if it's down, it just dropped 50 cents. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that one. We talked about 330 and we talked about 65 on Zila. Of course, I can't actually defend a bid if I'm short. It just bounced off this. So I did get most of my shares up, but I'm actually still in a quarter of the position. And I never got a full position on anyways. Like I actually wanted to add twice more if I could have got better prices on Zila. But 65 was that first level. It looks like it's trying to put in a bit of a bounce there. So I'll get a little bit more aggressive trying to get out maybe in front of that 66. On Vinco Ventures, that is a small cap that continues to run. A bit of a bounce there off of 30s in BBIG as well. And then Microsoft. Yeah, like I actually moved so if you don't, like when it does a bid, when it falls down to 300, I was trying to buy at 300, I was at 355 cents. It already bounced off this level and retraced $2. And I didn't get picked up on the bid. So now, as far as I'm concerned, that bounce has already happened. So I either need to see it bounce off 300 again before getting in or move my bid down to like that 290, the pre-market lows here at 298. Because if you don't catch it the first time, the second time through, I want to make sure it's actually bouncing on that name. And going back over to DWAC, which was the other one that's absolutely rocking and rolling to the downside. It caught a bit off pre-market lows. Anywhere near those highs, off of 74, I'm willing to short that one. I'm actually hoping it pops so we get a chance.
Yeah, I actually missed that 300 there. It
didn't quite.
Yeah, I went to 301 there. Okay. Yeah. So we will watch that. So just an update here. We are bidding Rivian lower. If we can get something around 61, we'll take that. Otherwise, we're going to get out if it breaks through this 50 period at 62. Thank you so much, guys. 8,000 plus watching right now. If you can hit the like, subscribe, that would be absolutely fantastic. So let's do that ASAP if we can. DraftKings still moving. Let's look at SoFi. SoFi's sub 13 right now. That seems too low in this environment for SoFi. It should be ripping. The Nasdaq's, I was going to say the Nasdaq's up 2%, but I guess the Nasdaq is failing here, which does give us, some sense there to this SoFi trade. But SoFi back down here, 12. Like, I think you still got to wait now. Actually, I thought the Nasdaq was starting to move up a little bit, but it doesn't look like it. We're still below the 50 period on this as well. But you can see right now, SoFi, I still like this name, but it has to drop a little bit more. Speak about dropping something. Let's see what DraftKings is doing right now. It's still bouncing around. I don't mind shorting this 21, but I really really like DraftKings today, so that's not going to be a name that I'm going to look at. What about Ford? Ford was ripping off in the pre-market, and we really like Ford. But here it goes. Okay, Ford, I see you. Ford right back down here. This could be a good one. Ford coming back in. Why did it just do that? Nobody knows, I don't think. Ford back into these levels, 20. Yeah, let's see if we can defend 20 because we have a 1950 bottom that we really, really like. So here comes Ford. Why is Ford doing this? It's absolutely getting clocked to the downside.
There's some names getting crushed, like Boeing's dropping like an absolute rock. I think it was at 198 like a few seconds ago when I checked. You know, another one from yesterday that I told you guys what the plan would be on MindMed. I try to break down at $1. I'm literally going long 1s, 2s, and 3s in front of $1, and I'm stopping out at like 99 cents. So I got some bids down here. It's just getting close. That's the only reason I mentioned it. I didn't try the short on and off the open here today. I probably should have. But coiling now and consolidating is Microsoft. Off of this, oh goodness, that chart. Off that 300 level, so it doesn't quite get back to VWAP, that 303, and looks like it might retest that bottom. So you need to get a bit of a bounce, but it's Boeing that was, like, it's starting to get 198. Yeah, it's at 198. This was the bottom in the aftermarket yesterday, so Boeing takes that out, and you're now down 2.7%, and you're starting to think about your support being like $5 to $10 lower. Crazy, ugly move there for Boeing. Bit of a bounce here in Zila, which was kind of expected. I did not get all out of the short. And it bounced off at 65, but at this point, the 70 to 72 level is still pretty valid for me. So instead of scalping it long and reversing to the short, I'm now holding a quarter short and looking to reload. So, I mean, it would probably given away some profit because it did bounce off 65, but it doesn't change the overall range that I'm expecting it to sit in. Vinco Ventures broke 330 area, now headed down to 321. That'll be the next exit there.
Okay, so we are getting into Ford right now, so we'll see if we can't spit out the money or if it spits us out, because right now we are into Ford, long at 25. We're just going to wait to see if this is a grenade in this stock or not, because it just keeps on coming to the downside right now. So we'll average into this. We actually didn't mean to take two fills there, but we did take a 28 and a 23 or 22 there, giving us the average price of 25. So we're going to have to watch out for that. But look at Intel right now. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Right back here to the 50 period. This could probably get taken out for a nice win for Intel. We're long at 50.80 right now as that continues to make moves to the upside. And then the Rivian trade, it's just bouncing around here. But again, if the NASDAQ's going to take out some of these lows like it seems to be wanting to do, now it's starting to rip up. I don't know. I'm not sure what Rivian wants to do. I was thinking that if the market tanks, then Rivian does retest 60. But for right now, it's kind of holding out pretty strong here near the 61.50 area. We had one drop down. We canceled our bid. We were bidding 61.20 there, probably not getting filled. But, if this NASDAQ doesn't want to work, man, I don't see how Rivian works. So we're going to wait down here around 60.50, see if we can't catch an absolute monster winner off of the sticky note here for Rivian. $64, man. That was the short. We were waiting for it to get to 65. That doesn't happen, so no moss on that one. And look at Intel, on this one, a nice little move here for Ford. I don't know if it's going to moon or not, but we're nicely 10 cents in the money on F. Give it to him, Valeria.
Hey guys, we have so many viewers right now, more than 8,000. Welcome everyone. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel to receive notifications when we are on air, and we are live every day from 8:30 a.m. until 4 p.m. Eastern. And guys, please make sure to like this video. Today is the day to get record amount of the likes. So please make sure you turn the thumb to the upside, and let's go to Brandon.
Quickly, JKS, Jinko Solar, coming back to the downside here. This is another one that was up pre-market on a Shanghai list, or I apologize, a Singapore listing, not Shanghai. So back to the downside here for JKS.
Yeah, it was Jinko. It was Neo. It was Neo that was the other one. And again, I didn't think it was big news, but it was Lucid that I was looking for. But same thing as Neo. And thank you guys for getting us to 2K likes. Fantastic. And Neo getting absolutely crushed. It's still actually positive on the session, but right now my eyes are. I got the two small caps that are going pretty well, but Microsoft looking like it's about to retest that 300. So if it breaks 300, you're looking at the pre-market lows maybe coming in relatively quickly. This is starting to fall off pretty quickly, and if you're checking back in, like Lucid just bounced off $35. It's starting to think about where am I at the bottom. It's about to turn red on the session, and you go back to the lows, both in the aftermarket yesterday. A lot of names broke the lows in the aftermarket, 34 3/4, and then back down to 34 even a couple of days ago. That's what I think there might be a little bit of a bounce. And someone just asked 4K likes, would I shave the head? Yeah, I probably would.
Guys, let's go, man. Money, money, money. We're buying razors for sure today. Rivian, a nice move up. Look at look at Ford now ripping to the upside. We told you double buys, so that's what we're doing right now. We'll floss it off as Microsoft testing that 3 bills. You know that we're getting ready to go long there. And then what a good move here for Ford. Come on, I'm actually sitting at 44 to get another piece out here on Ford. I don't know why 44, but we are sitting right there right now. And then check out Intel, guys. You want a chicken dinner winner? Let's go buy some of those wings tonight on me. Intel ripping to the upside right now. What a good move this is. This is 83 cents in the money. Rivian is $2 in the money. Getting ready to get out if this does break back up above $62 on Rivian. What's up, Bren?
Just quickly, more on that Robinhood story, guys. So this is going back to the beginning of the week, January 20th. So they selected 1,000 customers from a wait list to test out this crypto wallet. So the actual testing, it looks like, began today. They're saying also down here in March, it will expand to 10,000 customers. So a little more for that Hood story.
Yeah, good clarification there. Thank you very much, Brendan. And a couple of things happened in the midst there. We finally got something on DWAC in front of that high. Still like 74 is a level. So I'm kind of thinking, if 73, which has just got broken again, puts in a failed break, that's where I want to be able to add to this one. We got the bounce. There was a bounce on Zila, but the other name that we got to be watching here, remember, earnings yesterday on American Express. It's just now trying to take out the 178 top. Now, keep in mind, this is the daily chart. It's trying to break out from these levels. It barcoded so far off these highs. And if you look at it, nice consolidation, fail break to the downside, let it open up and volume to come in. It has yet to do 1 million shares, but this one breaking out, looking at that 178, it didn't quite get far enough for any kind of a dip buy, but that's also pretty bullish because it means when the market pulled back in, there was almost no dump on American Express. Looking for the break at 78.
No dump. Right now, look at Intel, guys. It's an absolute monster trade here for me on INTC, as you guys can clearly see that. Now up $1 in the money on Intel. So really happy with the way this one's obviously pairing out for us as Intel continues to make it, 96 cents up on Intel, working out for us, needless to say here, as this name continues to work. So Intel to the upside. We did get out of our Rivian. That looks like that's going to be a good out as well for us. So, hey, happy about that trade for sure. And I'll give a big thank you to Matthew also on the chat for mentioning some of the trades that I'm in. So thank you so much, Matthew. It does mean a lot. I worked pretty hard to get this going. So thank you so much, Matthew, for your nice words there on the chat. What's up, Brendan?
Another little one that was up in the pre-market, ONDS, just popping back up. Looks like it held 5. Positive news for this one. Holding 5, I guess. Some volume coming back in for ONDS.
And into DWAC, out some in front of VWAP pretty quickly there. We're going to go back to the well, and actually some of these give you the prices that you want a little bit later. But we finally get the curl off the top. We didn't get it off the open because we're sitting at 50s. I still like offering in front of that price, so I'll take that reload if it does want to come in. It's still trying to be bullish here, and so was Microsoft. Actually, Softy was looking like it was going to test 300, but in that little market bounce, it just got back up to 02s. But you're really not, as we're retesting the highs, by the way, on the ES. Getting close to that 44.20, and the NASDAQ trying to churn right back to its morning highs. Microsoft is not really getting past that 03 mark, which does mean if it breaks 300, you could still see that 298. I think we're going to be okay. Vinco continues to fall. I am on the bid at 22. I never got the fill down here. I'm looking to take a few more shares out there. If it gets to a pop, I got to be thinking about the 50 level more so than 55s where we got in earlier. DWAC sailing back towards that high, so I'm going to get that reload. And the other one I was watching, I'm going to cancel my orders on Affirm because it doesn't even have a pop to be shorted. So you can't really short the pop if there isn't one.
Correct. Yeah, that's true. We'll start a position right now on Microsoft. I mean, I feel like it's been pretty strong here. The NASDAQ's trying to go. So we'll start a position here on Softy right now and just try to continue our sort of luck in the market. And is it luck, really? Is it? I mean, we just made 70 cents right there on Microsoft. So, I mean, there it is, man. 302.20 we just went long, and we just got out at 80 right there. So that's 60 cents to the upside. Here's 70 cents right now on Microsoft. So let's just take this out. Why not? We're going to go long if it breaks above 303 anyways. So there it is. Bang right there. Your boy is back, man. We are on one right now. Look at the trades today. Ford, Intel, Microsoft, Rivian. I mean, we just cashed out, right there. Like we sit here talking about, we just made 5 cents or 10 cents cents, or like when I'm trading Palantir, you know, scalping it out. But there goes Microsoft right there with a nice 80-cent win. We will take that. Will we reload it down here? Maybe. Who knows? But the NASDAQ just broke higher, so we went long softy. We're going to go long again. We'll see what happens here. Microsoft trying to break higher right now, back above 303. We just took a smooth win on that name. So good for us for now. But now we're back in here, so let's not count these chickens before they hatch. We still have more work to do here on softy. But hey, we'll take that 80, 90 cents, spin it, and see what happens now moving forward. Brendo?
Clean energy fuels, CLNE, looks like they announced a new methane-related construction project this morning. So big move here for CLNE, 16%. 650 though over here, a bit of a problem it looks like for this one.
So AXP, American Express, we just got to fill. It finally broke out. Like, you had to wait a while for that, and it looks like it finally took out that top at 78 even. Pre-market highs was kind of at a random price area. I'm in front of 180. It's a round number. You are breaking out on the daily chart. Given the run that it's put on, I think it might have an upper limit of like a 184 today. So takes them out in front of the 80, then look to 82 to 83 if it wants to extend that move. So far, so good. Oh, come on, Zila. Still in some of that Zila short, by the way. I haven't actually covered it all in front of that 65. You are seeing it. I just was read at VWAP here, and it just started to curl back down. I got to get out of this in front of that 65 even. And someone had mentioned, and I did not see this, so I saw in the chat someone saying there's a big offer on Vinco Ventures at 345. If it gets up to that price and I see it, that's below 50, I will probably try to reload that name. About 80 cents in AXP. I'm looking for about $1.25 to $1.50 on the first leg before I take profit.
Oh, man, today is another good day for us here. We are holding a small piece of Microsoft, though. Intel's $1 in the money, guys, right back up here. Like, look at these bids. Unfortunately, we did get out down here. I mean, the market, we were like, uh-oh, we're wrong, but no, we're not. Intel all the way back up to the upside. Sometimes, like I say, you do have to believe in the trades that you have and try to hold on to them. And that being said, look at Softy right now. We already bought lower. We bought lower again. Now we'll see where it's going to go from here. I have another offer near 304, so we'll see if that can get up to the upside here. Maybe we'll even cancel that, but it's still bouncy. It's still pretty choppy here on Microsoft, so maybe we'll have another look at that in a couple minutes. DraftKings, we wanted to definitely, I mean, we're still bidding near that 300, so if that comes through, then hey, we'll take it. But DraftKings right now, nice move, man. We talked about trying to get that long. I love that Morgan Stanley upgrade on a beat down name. I don't know. I don't think I'd buy it up here for a long-term play, but you know, definitely a nice move back up. I mean, don't buy stock up 12%, but it's a good move up to the upside here for those guys. Nvidia rocking. What is AMD doing right now? AMD makes those bottoms at 113, but again, we were waiting even lower than that. We put it on our sticky note that we wanted the ultimate 110 bid there on Intel, on AMD. That just didn't come through, but we are super happy with Intel making a move up. I mean, but we don't want, again, it's a big move up in the NASDAQ, right? So we got to make sure that we take some profits here. We're right back to pre-market levels on Intel. That's probably a good sign. So let's get out 51.90 if we can here for INTC, and that would be good for me. So here it comes right upside. Intel trying to make that move. We have more, you know, fish to fry here with Softy. So let's try to do that. And we'll get out of some here on Intel if we're lucky enough to get some 83s, 84s. Well, we can get 83s now if we want to. Let's get a little more greedy and see if we can get higher than that, because right now we got bigger. There it is. Nice little out there at 84. So yes, sir, we'll sort of catapult ourselves as we're going perfect today so far. Let's just wait to see where we go on this one. Microsoft trying to make moves downside now.
Yeah, it's like, to me, it's like we talked about breakouts not being great, and the only stock that lost for me was taking a breakout and was in and out really quickly. And I even said in NVIDIA, if I lose, it's going to be like instantaneously we're going to be out. But there's one from yesterday that I'm not getting away from, and GameStop's still up. But 105, this got to 105 at 10 o'clock yesterday and just had the harshest reversal. It's right back above that level as I just took some profit. The curl on AXP ended up being, you know, instead of that quarter to 50, it ended up being right there at 79. So I'll just take the profit in front of that level. I want to hold through an 80 break if I can, but 105 gets closer on GameStop. I'm going to jump into this one the same way I was looking at DWAC, but I want to get it at the price I like. Like, that worked so far on DWAC. I didn't get the reload, but I'm going to try top to bottom here on DWAC, and I would try the same thing, the exact same setup, if I can get that 105 area on a GameStop. I think it looks pretty good, and we'll jump back into that as well. And coming right back over to like Softy, like either, you know, do you know what or get off the pot, right? Like, I'm still sitting here if it breaks 300 to grab that 298, and we're pretty range bound in the market, by the way. Like, I know we've broken down, then come back up. We haven't broken the morning low. We haven't gone anything out of bounds just yet. So you want to watch out for that. The only thing that's gone, I guess, crazy to the downside to me has been Boeing on the reversal, because it actually took out some of these levels recovering after earnings and went all the way to 198. So 200 has been reclaimed on Boeing, but that chart still looks pretty ugly to the downside. I don't know if I want to bottom pick that. I was just about to say, oh, double bottom off the aftermarket prices. And as weak as it's been, I don't know if this is the day that I want to bottom pick on Boeing. So you know what? I just talked myself out of it.
Yeah, I'm looking for a lower bid here on Softy as well, as that's starting to come down pretty hard. But this is kind of like what we've expected here for Microsoft. So we'll take some more shares down here near 300 again. So we're down $1 on the trade right now. Not the end of the world. Look at Intel though. Wow, that continues to make a move to the upside. Wow, we were 100% on that one. That's another sticky note name. It's actually the second name that we have on the sticky note. Thank you so much for everybody watching. I'll put the sticky note back up in here, but again, another 124 likes, 48 retweets. Thank you so much here. Intel, EU antitrust, right? 1.5 billion back in their pockets. Long back near 51, right? So it started at 51.50. That's exactly what we did, guys, on that name. Watch out for the rally into the open. It was the other way around, which gave us exactly what we wanted. We said take Intel back to 51. It dips down, and there it is, an explosive move for Intel back to the upside. That seems to be a great trade. And then, by the way, guys, how about this one as we moon on Ford? We called up Ford. We said when it was dropping down, we're like, what? On Ford? And there it is, a nice little play to the upside on F, baby. Let's see where we go on that one. Back over to Brendo.
Hey, Brendan looks different today. Dominic Famulara sent us a super chat, guys. Thank you so much, Dominic. Thoughts on LRN? This is online educational services company. It provided positive earnings and up more than 30% on the day. Neil, can we take a look at LRN?
Yeah, so we know these online services companies have been I guess a vehicle for volatility. Look, this is, if you're into this sort of a thing, you can sort of see the bull flag here, obviously forming, and there's nothing really standing in its way on the daily chart, kind of at 37 here and then up to this 39 level. This is not like, I don't like chasing these types of moves. You kind of know the way that I like to play this. And whenever I see a parabolic mover and I see a bull flag, the first thing I'm thinking about is if it traps people to the long, that's just a great shorting opportunity. And to me, that's like a trap at 37. The volume's already also starting to die down on this name a little bit here. You can see, had a couple of nice volume spikes right up here at the top. The last time it pulled back off that high, I don't know if it's hard, you almost can't even tell. Yeah, it's putting a couple of volume bars that are basically non-existent off of that high. So if it were to break out the high, not get through 37, and the volume stays this depressed, I think you're looking at some profit taking likely happening there. So that's my take on LRN here. But Zila, I got the reload. So I never got the long off 65, which kind of stinks. And then I reloaded at VWAP. If it reclaims this 71 area we're trying to spike up to, I'll probably just have to get out of this because I think that high at 75 to 77 is the bigger level to jump into the short. I had a tight stop the first time I went to this level. I'm short at a lower level now, which had worked, but you don't want to fight this too hard. If I did think it was a bid at 65, I can't be stubborn about the short in front of 71, V.
Hey guys, we've got another super chat from Mr. Impal. Thank you so much. Love the vibes and the information. Started watching a month ago and haven't stopped since. Thanks for all you guys do. Thank you guys to each of you for being with us, for all the support, super chat, and of course likes. We're so close to 3,000 likes, and if you didn't like this video yet, please do so. Back to you.
Okay, thank you so much. Microsoft, we back from the dead, baby. Let's see where we go from here, though. I don't know if we're back from the dead or not, but Microsoft right now trying to rip to the high side back. So we are back in the money now on Softy. I just wish we would have loaded up more down there at 301, but we are still waiting for that 300 print. Unfortunately, we just missed that 300 print, man. I don't know how we missed it, but we did. I went down to $300.40. How far did we go down there, to be honest with you? 44. Oh, we miss a monster position. We were going to double our position. We miss it by 3 cents there on that. So that sucks, but that is what that is. So let's go happening now with Brendan, and we'll talk about this when we get back.
Hey guys, 10 o'clock happening now, brought to you by BitGet this week. Here we go, positive right across the board. Nice look here. The S&P almost got to 2% there. The Dow 1.4, the Russell all 1, 2, and 3,000 in positive territory. Same story for the NASDAQ leading the way. I mentioned TSX 1.6. There was a interest rate decision from the Bank of Canada out there. No change as expected, quarter point for the Bank of Canada. A couple things we were discussing in the pre-market. Chip stocks, yeah, they did come in off of the open, but trying to find a bottom here below that pre-market low for AMD around 113. Still a big day for some of the chip stocks. Look at Tesla, trying to test the highs right now for Tesla ahead of earnings coming up tonight. As we said, happening now, brought to you by BitGet, the top crypto copy trading platform. Sign up now, earn $158 in rewards. Use the QR code below, guys, for BitGet.
Bank of Canada didn't change rates? What is going on here? No, of course.
Shout out to all the variable mortgages.
I mean, clearly, obviously, they weren't changing anything.
Got you.
We got to cover. We're in Canada, so we're going to let you guys know. It'll be the same thing here today. And we're not actually, like with the Fed, you're going to listen to what they say. And if we get any clarity on the tapering or changes to the balance sheet, that's actually going to matter. Not really listening to anything the Bank of Canada says because it's not really going to affect anything that we're going to be heavily trading. That's just the truth. Vinco broke out of the bottom end of this range here. Looks like it's trying to head back into the upside. This is more of a reload situation for me than slipping or flopping into a long. I did reload, however, on American Express as that came right back in after that breakout. It's a good thing we took some profit on that name. And catching bids, Lucid catching a monster bid here at 35. So it's getting pretty close back towards those highs of the day where it would be a fade for me. Not quite there yet, but Lucid up 2%. So almost went negative on the day. No, sorry, it did go negative barely on the day. And now right back up towards those highs where I'm looking to finally get that short on Lucid. Crazy.
Yeah, we've been really smoking the good today, guys. I mean, look at this Intel bid, boom, to the upside. Fortunately, got out there. Couldn't predict this NASDAQ insane move to the upside right here for the NASDAQ. So what a great day this has been for the longs. And that's what I am. So so far, so good here. Ford also ripped City today, as that name wants to continue to go to the upside. So we're going to try to hold on to some of these now, as that's working out for us. I can't believe TDOC is still $75. That's wow. Okay, DraftKings is now getting to a spot where maybe this is a short after all here. We could see what's happening with with DraftKings up 14% and still moving. Let's go, Softy. Microsoft right now getting accelerated. It just took that out right there. A nice little win for us on Softy as we continue to march higher and higher and higher in this name. So we like Softy here. Let's see where we go. Trying to make some moves to the high side. Microsoft, we're in the money now, $1. This is the second or third time for this to be happening. And here it goes to the upside. We got to get something out, don't we? Let's put an offer here. Takes out some 303 and change. We just hit offer enter on that one. We don't get that trade though. A breakthrough 303 will take some more out. $1 in the money on Softy. Pretty happy with that play. I'm not happy that we missed by 4 cents down here to be a monster. Did we just get that, Phil? No, we did not. Microsoft, look at the volume, man. 20 million and just brrr. Cash register goes brr on Softy today, guys. So a big trade for me. Pretty happy with this one. We knew we wanted to be patient with Microsoft. That's exactly what we are. And now we reap the benefits on that trade as Microsoft printing the cash today. Good trading on Softy as long as you were patient.
Yeah, double top here now on NVIDIA. So we took the hit on NVIDIA going long, and you see 235 is where it got to. There was a chance. You could have had a 35, like a dollar break, but this is now twice we've tested this high. The NASDAQ is right at 14.5 trying to break out here, and it's probably going to have to do that for it to get through this price. I'm looking over at DWAC. I want to make sure I go over and take some profit there, but first things first. If it wasn't working before, I'm going to try the short off the high of the day on NVIDIA and then go over to DWAC, which I just mentioned, starting to slow down a little bit, that short. I was trying to get it out in front of that low of the day at about 70.75 and wanted to take $2 on the trade, but it's really starting to have some trouble getting back into this downside. So I might take some profits off. I'm telling you, like it's like almost like watching paint dry, and there's not really any acceleration. So I'm going to hop on the bid, try to get it out right here, and then reassess because Lucid was starting to come in and bumping to the upside. I don't want DWAC coming back to the top, and then I missed out on taking profit on that rollover trade. It did work. I missed it the first time, so this is the second time through. You can't always think you're going to get as good of a price movement the second time through off a level like that. So on DWAC, I'm going to go over. Make sure we bank the profit. I just talked about NVIDIA. catching a bit of a roll. And if it gives me the fill here, relatively tight to that 235.25, which is the high of the day, if the futures turn around, I've seen it reject off this price once. That's why I want to test that level one more time. And just going back over to Lucid, which I did say was trying, like, give me a break. Yeah, so I was saying Lucid trying to get back towards those highs. It might get closer to 37. Like within minutes of saying that, it's right back below 36. Lucid just continues to die. Almost a rapid death. Just today anyways. Brendo.
Just saw Micron popping up there on a volume spike, 3.5% at day highs, I guess it was. They just said they're going to close their DRAM design operations in Shanghai. Not a huge headline, but coming back in a little bit for Micron.
Yeah, I just reported guys some quote issues, but okay.
Is it on New York?
No. It's on some of the pink sheets here. I was trying to look at it. They're not moving, so there's definitely some problems there. But we'll wait to see when we get the report back on that. Okay, Softy does dip all the way back down to 301 there. Good thing we got some out. We got some decent pieces out up here at 303. So it did get us out 302.93 and 302.83. So I don't know why we chose those. We just, we started to panic when it was doing all that volume up here at 303. So we did get out of some of those spots right there. So something to look out for as we go on Microsoft. We still do have a lower bid into 300. This could wind up burning us. The NASDAQ has made a nice high. I sort of thought on this kind of a move that Softy would even be higher than this. But again, we've made some decent, good money today trading this. Look at Tesla, 956 right now. Good move there for Tesla today, all the way to the upside. That just kept on pumping from this 940. Right now, you're trying to drop off. And again, look, like a pre-market high. Isn't this a 1 minute chart? Why are my things in here? Okay, yeah, it starts at 927, it says down there. That's strange. Okay, so I guess these are pre-market highs. Is this a 1 minute chart? It doesn't. It is, but it doesn't seem like it. 962 right here, a nice high, right into that level again. So let's pay attention if Tesla and if the NASDAQ gets going again. Look for some of these breaks of these highs or a retracement back down to 950. Then you have your out right around here, like 948. I mean, if you really, really want to do it, wait to get into this cluster one more time, down to 943. 944. Come on, Softy, you can do this. We may take another piece out. We're still in the money 80 cents now, so that's probably worth something there. But for me, for Microsoft, I think it's probably worth a little bit of a wait. It hasn't been super strong into today. You can see the NASDAQ really blew up, and Microsoft's having a hard time here. So with that being said, maybe we got to go over to another big guy. Ooh, nice to see Apple back to 163, that's for sure, off of some of those lows that we've recently experienced on on Apple down here, 156, 157. So again, a 164 take on a break is not bad, but you can see just view up in the 50 period, like we're still really consolidating here. This is not, I don't know, I'm not super excited about what I'm seeing right now.
And I'm watching another name here, and it's like how many stocks are setting up on this potential curl when the market's at these highs? And Moderna up 4%, a name that, again, it had been on that list of like short till it's not, and then I went from that to Affirm. But Moderna, double top, pre-market, double top, I guess since the opening range here at about 160, and it's just sort of sitting here. It's a similar trade to what I put on an NVIDIA, only Moderna's, I think, been a much weaker stock than NVIDIA recently. So I'm going to try to get this one in here. Probably 159 is what I'm looking to see if I can grab. A little bit tighter. It's been a while since I've traded in Moderna, but it's the same setup that I'm going to like over and over again. And if it's going to be one of these things where AXP just broke down through the low, so we get the break on AXP, that works out on American Express, and then we'll do this for the rest of it. It just took out a 176 even. And for NVIDIA, it just broke the high. I wanted that curl trade. And the market's trying to break out those highs, but it just took out the top without the market going through. So NVIDIA looks like it has relative strength. Tried the break long, doesn't work. Tried the curl short. Feels like you got to stay away from some of the chips being relatively strong today for that type of a setup. Moderna, a bit of a different story, of course, a different sector, but a very, very similar setup to what I'm seeing as these tops, because the ES just reversed off the highs when NVIDIA broke the top. I think that's going to be a better story for Moderna shorts.
Yeah, I'm sort of seeing the same thing here in this market. It's just, it's very shady right now. We're kind of just holding out these highs. We're trying to get back down. And it's more because I'm in this Microsoft right now, and I don't really, it is coming to the downside here. So we do wait for this 300 bid, which is coming in right now. We don't want to make a mistake again and bid too low, but at the same time, it's not looking super spicy at these levels now, is it? It seems like it wants to come to the downside. So we got to be very, very careful with what we think is about to happen here with Softy. We don't want to get too carried away with the position. And what I mean by that is we don't need to have too many shares here just kind of hanging around and getting overfilled, things like that, into this softy trade. So unfortunately, we miss it again. Is it honestly seeing my order? Like I'm at, look what this went down to.
New York? No, it's not.
364 cents. I'm at 60 cents right now. So we missed that again by 4 cents, which would have been a nice winner, but here it comes right back down. So maybe we get it this time. All you have to do is complain a little bit. There it is. So there we go. So it runs right over us. Thank you for that. So now we are in this position, and now we can complain when it goes against us. So we are now in this Microsoft position. Here comes, again, we're waiting now. As long as I don't have any more bids, which I don't, we're going to wait now for that 298 to come through. We just want to start some trades now, right? So we're in this trade. We'll see where it goes. We do have, obviously, that target down there. We're looking at this 298. We're going to see what that does. So that's kind of where I feel like we'll drift to, especially if the NASDAQ doesn't hold this 50 period right now. So we're getting ready to go. This is just a 1 minute chart if you're wondering what I keep referencing. So let's see what the NASDAQ does here right at the 50p. But right now it's pushing P's to the bottom, guys.
Yeah, and it was a great question by Jude. They're like, why get into, if I like the curl trade, why get into NVIDIA where I did? I took a starter there. It didn't curl at 295, at 235. So there was no rejection of the price level, so there was no add. But same thing with Moderna. It didn't really test 160, got to 159.5. That's not quite close enough, but had it actually bounced towards the high, and remember, the actual high here in the pre-market was just a little bit higher. So you're giving it some room past 160. But if it rejected at 160, that's where you'd add on the curl. But I did want to make sure I got a piece because the futures were at the high. So if the market reversed off the high and pulled back down, I wanted to make sure I was actually in position, even though the stock hadn't tested the actual high. So if that wasn't obvious, thank you for asking the question for clarification. Happy to give it. Vinco Ventures is ridiculous. I guess it's not really doing a heck of a lot down at this range. It's not giving you, it kind of got back to view up, but not really, and it's just bouncing off the bottom. I'm going to sit it and it'll be okay, but a bit disappointing because I thought there'd be more activity. And the same thing with Zila. Like I'm stopping out there because I think it's going to retest the high, and it's really not doing anything as well. So I'm looking 75 to 77. We're back to square one with Zila. Just a bit disappointing in terms of price action. Then GameStop was the other one that we're looking, there we go. We're looking for, and if it'll load here, typed NF for some reason, and then there you go. And GameStop does the 105 break, and we already talked about opportunity cost of looking at multiple things. GameStop was not the #1 stock on my list for the curl, so I'm not mad that I missed it, but it was one of the names I was looking for at that 105. It breaks up, actually gets to 106, and then slams back down. That's usually an entry right here in consolidation, back in front of that 105. Not going to get it here. You had to chase it $1, by the way, and which is chasing it a lot. And then I think it feels like we made the wrong decision here in DWAC. I talked about it slowing down and decelerating. Of course, I choose to get out. DWAC continues to fall. It just broke $70, so that continues to be an absolute flush. And we were trying to target names that did not make sense to be getting the Microsoft rally, if that's what we want to call it here today. DWAC was on the top of that list. We did win on the trade, but I think we left a little bit on the table getting out. I'd still short those levels if by some chance it manages to get back there, Brendan.
Just checking on Luminar here, Laser, LAZR. A lot of volume coming in at the highs here, 13.5, I guess. Day highs got broken there, 10% now for Luminar, another one in desperate need of one of these kind of days.
Yeah, so right now, spicy softy right now as we break below 300 right now for Microsoft. This is kind of what we're waiting for. Our price is 334 cents right now. So we are down $1 on Microsoft now as it starts to go down. We don't have that many shares yet on this name, and I don't know if we will. The NASDAQ just continues to fall down here, man. Like, I don't know. This is just like a relentless move to the downside. So when that happens, then we have a big percentage of the NASDAQ, of course, is in softy is a big percentage of the NASDAQ, sorry. That's going to obviously create some more movements to this downside. So, we're getting close to that 298, man. That could be something that's, we're at 298 handle, but that 298 pre-market bottom, and it depends how far back you go on the pre-market, right? But I didn't go that far, only to 7 o'clock. So we'll see what happens here. 298 trying to get defended down here on the downside. Our long is at $300.34, but so far, so good on the trade. trade today. It's just we need this to bounce back up a little bit here, take out that 3 bills one more time, and then maybe we're rocking. But we should get a little lighter on this right now. So if it comes back, okay, there it is. So there it is. We just got some out there at 300, and now we'll wait to see if it goes. Average price $300.20 for Mr. Softy.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm on the bid in front of 820.98. Doesn't quite get there. It got pretty close, but it didn't quite get to that price. So I'm going to miss out on that dip again. Going to come back over to where are you? Yeah, Zila there. It's actually now starting to churn to the upside. So this is what I was looking for. Like, let's get a little bit higher, and it's 75 to 77. So I would allow it to break 75, by the way. So that could be a fail break and add to it, but I'm going to start getting shares in front of that 75 level. I mean, we'll give Softy one more chance to break 300 to break back down and give me 298. Otherwise, I have to reassess the price that we want to get into it. EV name Neo, it's up on the day, but you can see what's actually happening to it here. It's back above this 24 level. So I'm watching this group, but the one that I want to trade is going to still be Lucid. Still going to be Lucid. Oh, there we go, finally. That's back towards these lows, and 35 even is getting pretty close. This is what it looks like on the daily for Lucid. You get to 35, you have that 34 bottom that we talked about. I didn't want to be long at Lucid at any point today, but I mean, if it gives you any kind of crazy wick down to 35, it's going to be a little bit hard to ignore. You know, sometimes if you miss out on the entire move down, you start thinking about where you pick up the long. That's just the inevitable truth.
Oh, man. That's crazy. All right, we're just looking at where we're waiting for Microsoft there, and somehow we don't get that fill. All right, so $300.50 we were waiting for. It only goes up as high there as I mean, that fill didn't happen, 301.20. That just broke through to $300.30. So we're waiting at 50 right here, so we'll see if that can come through right now as Microsoft continues its move to the downside, unfortunately, right now for us. But that's okay. We're not even out of the money on this name. Well, we are out of the money, but barely on Softy. So I believe in this. So let's see if we can't get this one to work. Still, more upside here for Microsoft. We are waiting at $300.42 randomly to see if we can get some out here on that bump up. We will reload again if it comes back down, but at the same time, it needs to hit some of those key levels that we've been talking about. Roblox, a name that we can look at here again, and I'm just nervous because the NASDAQ's, oops, it's a New York name. Can't switch from a NASDAQ to a New York name and not get punished on this system. So right here, Roblox, now taking out this 50 period as well. Oh, sorry, that's the VWAP. The 50 period's all the way up here. They made a nice bottom at 66 on Roblox. So that could be something there as we break higher. Maybe we get a bigger print here on RBLX. I like this name. Look at these levels that we're into. So Roblox here, I think, can work at some of these levels. We just needed to break a little bit higher on these numbers. We have a 68 top. I think we can get to 70, especially if this market is not done rallying here. Roblox only up that 2%. We know it can go higher than that. So we could watch out for this break of 67 and change on RBLX. But for right now, that's what I'm looking at here on Roblox, a possible break in this pre-market area. What's up, Brendo?
AMRN, another one moving around here, guys. At day highs here, just picking up volume. Was going to check on that, up about 11%, but trying to clear some significant levels over here for AMRN as well.
So I'll do that for Moderna. That one just took out the top, and I'd say pretty definitively, like it got through that 160.5. Now it's trying to churn to 161, so we'll take that quick shot in and out there. I did get the reload because it did try to curl off 160 and then jammed out of it once it broke through that top. Zila, we waited pretty patiently here for it to get close to that 75 before actually starting to get into position. So, 73.5, 74 is the first entry point on that name, and that's not a real wick on Microsoft. That's not true. Oh, no, okay, yeah, never mind. Yeah, Microsoft right back to 300. I was just looking at my other chart, has this wick down that did not give a fill. I'm still sitting at that 298 bid from the morning. I'm not really going to cancel it. This one, it's a pre-market low, so we're going to leave it in there and still thinking it's going to be hopefully a good price area to get in. DWAC continues to try to test off that 70 level. It has bounced back higher. I'm now thinking about closer to VWAP and 72.50 for a reload in DWAC. That might be the one that got away from us a little bit here. And with the market, again, bouncing back and forth. Like, I know markets, whipsawing, but this is what we expect on a Fed day. Like, we're not really breaking the highs. We're not really taking out the lows. That's kind of par for the course. Boeing is holding the bottom end of the range, but the weekend below that $200 level. It is a double bottom here, 198. I did already talk myself out of trying to catch a bottom in it once, but if the market's not breaking ranges, it might be good for a scalp off that 198 level on Boeing, especially if it can start to hold up and consolidate. It just hasn't really done too good of a job of consolidating just yet, but Boeing should be on the radar because of the volatility it's already had. If we're going to trade inside of a range, this has the biggest one.
Oh, I'm still sitting here looking at Softy and wish there was some more I could talk about right now, but DraftKings may be on a pullback down in. I think that that's been accelerated a little bit to the upside. I don't want to short a name that's getting these big upgrades. Look at Square up to 118 at Roblox. We were looking for that trade. Whoops, RBLX. That was 67.30 or so that we liked, but you can see now the NASDAQ. I'm going to cancel that right now as the NASDAQ failing there, so we don't want to punch that. We may take a ticket long here near 66 and change for Roblox, so I got a bid lower here. If we crank down lower, I'm going to be sitting there for RBLX, so look out for that trade coming through, guys. But right now, we've got to go over to the big board, and it's the big stock, BBIG, over there with Brendan. Let's see how he traded this thing.
Not very well is the answer to that question, Sean. BBIG 340 was, Neil showed you this in real time. There was 1 million shares on the bid at 340 the first time it came down here. I tried it a couple times and got scared away, for lack of a better term, every single time, but ends up being a great trade anyways for the fade. If you had it high enough going into that 340 anyways, there was a bit of an opportunity there for Vinco Ventures. DWAC, not a small cap, but the only other thing I was really interested in today, 73.74 on the daily chart. It's been bouncing off that for the past week or so. I took the initial move down into 70, gave you a second chance at that. That's testing the low right now, probably goes lower today for DWAC. Nice volume on that today as well. Was watching this clean as well, CLNE. Needs to get to 675 and then 7 above that to get into big time resistance on the daily chart, but running out of steam it looks like right now around this 650 area for CLNE, guys.
And just going, like I said, I got into Zila in front of that high of the day, 75. 77, of course, being a bit of a level. I got my bids down into VWAP just to make sure I'm taking profit. I always want to make sure when you're taking something off of like a double top here on those pre-market highs and it's a bit of a bullish turn, that you're getting out. This was not a random price. Like, we turned around, to me, at the most obvious level, at 65 cents being that level. Just looking right back to what we traded this range the last time. This is it up around that 70 to 75 range. And then the lower high, the lower support level in that next consolidation was right at 65 cents. So when it dipped, I said to myself, it's got to go to 65 before you start considering a turn. I did not get out of all of it to the short side. I reloaded and stopped out. Should have reversed into a long. Now we're shorting, thinking it's going to likely put in another top here, or another support level at about VWAP, not even that 65, on the way to potentially a break. To me, it's not a breakout till it takes out 77, so I would let it break that 75 area. 77 is where I think it's got to get through. That's the real resistance.
Like, we just missed Microsoft again. So like, from now on, I'm just going to disable my limit keys and just hit market keys. Like, when it comes up here, like, I offer enter and that's that. Like, it came right into this level. We weren't sitting there. We were watching, looking for other opportunities, and Microsoft comes right up there, right to that 300 level that we like, the 350, like we said, and we just did not get filled up there. So now we'll take another average down in. Our average price, $299.70 right now. So with that being said, let's just go on to, near 300. Maybe we can get it filled up here and take 25 cents on a part of it. I mean, I don't want to give up the ghost here, obviously, on Softy, right? I still think there's going to be some more downside love here, and here it comes right in right now. So Microsoft coming into these levels that we talked about in the pre-show, where we like this 298. So here it comes right now, screaming down in. We're out of the money now, $1. Let's see what happens here for Microsoft, and it looks like it's trying to bounce one more time off some of these levels. So we will take a bid here and well, maybe not here, but if it does, there it goes. If it does come down a little bit more, we wanted that softy bid. But for right now, no moss on that one. We miss our Roblox does not fill us. We are bidding, and I'll tell you the price, 66.20 on Roblox. So let's go back over here and have a quick look. The lowest it goes is 66.50. We probably should have taken that down here a little bit more on Roblox. So let's sit around 66.50. We have some downside cover here on Roblox, so 66.50, I think we can get away with that price.
Yeah, and I don't even want to look at the chart of Moderna, but I'm going to show it to you anyways, guys. Because I'm not. It can't just be about showing the winners. I stop out. That's going to be the top. It comes right back in now, holding that 159. So it has a setup that maybe it's a failed break. I would let it. I don't like the term head and shoulders, but I would let it try to make that pattern where it's got the break and then puts in the lower high, although maybe you extend that to a 160, and then it might be a reentry at that point. But I'm going to be patient with it because it just feels like we're range bound today. And every time I sort of force myself into the trade, patience seems like it's the way to go. Brendo?
Crypto stocks popping up here on some volume. The first one here, BKKT, just saw it broke that 450 on a decent volume spike. You can see trying to get back to the upside today, along with HUT 8 just testing day highs here, almost 10% for HUT.
And bang right now, we're back, baby. Microsoft all the way back, man. That was about as easy as it could get down there at that downside. I mean, you know, if you're waiting for 298, you got to take 298.50. There's a nice one for us right there. Let's take one more piece at 300. Yes, sir. What a good trade for us.
Oh my God.
That comes right in, man, and we hit that. We are at the highest spot we've been at all day now with these softy longs. So let's see if now it wants to continue to go up. We are out of half of the trade as it comes. I told you, if it comes back up here to 300, let alone where we just got out, what, 320 cents, 330, something like that. Look at this, all the way up. We don't let the market determine if it's going to fill us or not. We just stand in there and let it railroad us all the way to the upside. So that's fine. We did that. We took that out. Microsoft, a nice trade for me today. Maybe we can even take out one more piece as we're close to 300 here. Let's just let it, there it is. Oh, did we miss it? There it is. So right back up through 300 one more time. I'm just getting light on this name, guys. It's been obviously a good trade for us today, but it hasn't really mattered until we reloaded down here. My net on the day is pretty much just this trade. I mean, everything else has been actually, that's not 100% true, but everything, this is really setting this tone for me right now. Unfortunately, though, we've been looking at other things, and I missed this Ford dump back in. So Ford right now coming back into some of these levels, which is giving us an opportunity to reload this trade. But the NASDAQ is falling. Crypto's starting to fall again. Maybe some of my stink bids in crypto land may get filled. Ethereum back down to 2600. Big guy on the big desk.
Boeing, guys. Anyone watching Boeing day lows coming? The earnings call about to start at 10:30 for Boeing.
He's there for 2 seconds. Oh goodness, that's right, the call. So remember I said about the double bottom on Boeing? I'm not gonna trade that. I have a bad history of trading during earnings calls, so I'm not going to be doing that. But Vinco Ventures is right back to this low. I'm actually going to get on the bid here at 24. It's just splitting hairs, but it actually got down to 23s the first time, and I was sitting on a 23 bid, never got the fill, and now it's going to come back to the same price. I actually don't even want, if it tries to go through 25, I might just take it out with like a trailing stop the next leg. I just don't want to be giving up. There we go. Yeah, it just broke up. So like I said, I was just about to take it out. If it bounced off that low again, took out 25s, I would just get out of Vinco Ventures. It's worked, but I never got the shares that I wanted. I was never able to get the reload position. And if it makes a double bottom off a level like the quarters, I definitely want to make sure I'm jamming out. And again, it's just sometimes, like I feel like my read wasn't good. Like Moderna misses the top by just by pennies. Don't get into Lucid. Have to take DWAC the second time. I'm just missing it by that much this morning, which is the same reason why even on Zila here, I don't actually have oh, give me a break. So you see the dot, that's when we put the bid in, and then the line is where we have our bid. So Zila pulls back in, and my first bid, it kind of bounces off that price. It's kind of what happens every now and then. But anyways, if this tracks back into view up, I just want to make sure I'm taking profit on this. If we're going to be range bound today, then you got to do a better job of trading within the range and trying to let some of these work, and then make sure you have your tight stops, obviously, as well. DWAC, oh goodness, that just continues to absolutely fall like a rock. And if you go all the way back to your 15-minute, which when in doubt, zoom out, you do have, like, bigger support's going to be down closer to 60, but you did have a double bottom yesterday at $68. So, that would have been a reasonable target had I held through the low of the day. I kind of feel like if it gets down to that price and has a chance to make a bid that is not 60, 68 is your first one, Brendo.
All right, guys, 10:30, we'll get a quick check of what is happening over in the European market landscape today. Nice bounce back for North American markets. We'll check out what's happening over in Europe. Etienne Monco joining us from marketscreener.com once again to let us know what's happening over in your land. Good to see you, Etienne.
Hey, Brendo. Volatility is back. I bet you know it. What a week. Monday was such a downer. Tuesday, a wait-and-see attitude took over, and today seems to be the consolation price. At Market Screener, we are used to see this kind of setup that is often related to a major macroeconomical event, such as the Fed monetary policy decision, the first one of 2022, during a few hours. In fact, as we are getting closer to this kind of go or no-go event, investors tend to take their profit and stay low and see what happens. The thing is that the Euro Stoxx 600 lost close to 3.8% in one day only on Monday, and the CAC 40 fell almost 4%, which is quite a lot and pretty rare according to the statistics. Again, we can't be sure what direction markets will take when volatility is that high. As I said last time, we thought we were witnessing a sectoral rotation, but on Monday, it was actually the stocks that had performed the best, which is the cyclical sectors, that took the biggest hit. So everything seems to be risky and volatile, value and growth stocks. Technically speaking, indexes charts show that the dynamic is still bearish and that today's green candle is nothing compared to what we lost during the previous weeks. When you are in this kind of wait-and-see configuration, the best is to chill out on the sofa with 30 or 40% of your portfolio in cash and popcorn. I know it sounds easy, but if you have savings available, make sure you don't invest it straight away, but progressively. And we have to remain careful, actually, when it comes to sectors that investors are willing to buy at whatever the price, sectors that have shown high levels of valuation, like techs, biotechs, fintech, especially when you have a high proportion of crypto as well in your portfolio, because those markets are really highly correlated and act the same way. And because many people agree with that, it's absolutely normal to see cyclical sectors such as hospitality, automotive, materials, airline, and aircraft going back up. Since there is no alternative to financial markets, something has to go up. I can't wait to see how US analysts will interpret Powell's wise words in a few hours.
Yeah, big things to come this afternoon. Etienne Monco, senior analyst over at marketscreener.com. Yeah, chill out on the couch maybe until 2 p.m. Thank you, Etienne.
Exactly.
Have a great day. This is a look at Europe, guys.
Bang! You come back with a bang. Thank you, Etienne, for that one as well. Look at this softy trade. Just got it out right there at 301 as we continue to rip upside. That's only $2.50. So hopefully you're able to catch some of that off those 298 bids. And I just tweeted out, guys, today was or is a good day. We like that one. It's talking about right here, guys, off that 298 sticky note level, guys. Look at that level right down here. It just cashes you out $3 to the upside there. If you took 298, I mean, I don't know what the low was, 298, 30, 40, something like that. We took 50s on that one all the way back up to the upside. We have 298.65 actually, so that's what we took. But what a good move that was all the way to the upside. We are now flat on softy. We have one small spot. We're going to watch it now as it can trade, but we are completely risk off for that. So we say, oh, Canada, because it doesn't matter where you're located. Money is money. And today, there's a lot of it flowing around in this market. Today, as Ice Cube and Randy says, today is a good day.
Yeah, and you're still in this range-bound trade. And I think you got to decide to yourself, like, if we break out the lows, which is 14.35 right here on the bid in the NASDAQ, like, what kind of name do I want to be jamming to the short side? Because the ES continues to retest below 4,400. And one of those I just put in the chat is it's low-hanging fruit here. Well, here we go. Affirm. Like it can't even get towards, this is not even testing the top end of the range. It is barcoding a ways away from the 55, which is a key price level before. So if we break the bottom in the futures and you can short a firm off of a lower high, off of some relative weakness, again, it's not really moving much, which gives you some cover as well. So volatility not looking too disgusting on a firm. By the way, Zila, I did talk about making sure you take profit. It eventually did give me a couple of those fills to the downside, but it's trying to churn back up. I've got a couple more bids in front of 72 because I want to get more aggressive. Like it just feels at this point, VWAP might be the best you get, and then there's going to be a retest of that high of the day. And I don't want to be reloading off the high of the day. It's got to be a failed break to get me to take more short into Vinco, into Zila and Vinco. Maybe we got out too early. It looks like it just broke the low of the day. I kind of felt at that point after it held that 323, it was going to give you a move back up and you could get VWAP or even those 350s. Instead, it decides to go the other way on Vinco Ventures. And then if you go all the way back over to Moderna, it is now put in that, I guess, consolidation lower high that we're trying to wait out for and be a little bit more patient with here on mRNA. So if it makes one more attempt, failing to break back up 160, that would get me to re-enter the trade into Moderna, but no need to rush things. It's ridiculously range-bound right now, so you can be scalping some of it like I'm going to do with Zila, or we should have been doing with Vinco, but I'm not going to step out of the waters. If we break that low, however, it's a firm that I want. Lucid, 35 even, about to break, by the way.
Yeah, what's up to my wife? What's up, Marissa? She's watching here. That's going to be real nice. Thank you. And yeah, today we can get the second tier level of wine. So we can get that. I make it sound like we drink a lot. We don't actually drink that much. I get a wine every Friday, and then I look at the price. I'm like, let's see, should we buy that one or whatever? She sends me the wine of the week. So what day is it today? Wednesday. The kids are at coding tonight. They have coding class. So my kids, hopefully pretty soon, I'll be able to code, get him to code me into it's like Ozark. If you guys, I don't think Neil's seen it, but that kid, man, Marty Bird's kid, I feel like that's going to be mine one day. The guy's already washing money, laundering money at 14. I hope that's not going to be my kid.
Well, that's not good.
But he's smart enough to do that, that's for sure. So shout out to my main man there at home. Well, he's not at home today, but he's in school. So that's good, guys. Let's go. Yeah, that's the problem, Sean. You need to drink more. Yeah, maybe I do. Maybe you are right. Maybe we need to drink more. But hey, if drinking's going to affect the performance, then flush drinking down the toilet because we're on one today. Man, au natural. We're killing the water game here. We got the vitamin game on lockdown as well, although people telling me not to have multivitamins. But there it is. We're killing that as we go on with our lives. And, if you guys have family, that's, obviously very, very important. So watch out for your kids and be safe and give them a big hug and kiss next time you see them, and your mother and your father and your brothers too. Make sure that as well. Shout out to my family if they're watching, probably not. But what about DraftKings here on a pullback in for the NASDAQ? 22.22. Oh, got to put this back in. DraftKings at the day's high on a pullback. I don't mind testing this. It's though DraftKings, I feel silly here. We're well above the 50 period. You could see the moving average. We've talked about longing this one today. It's just we haven't gotten the opportunity. This was a glaring opportunity missed. We were looking at Microsoft too much when the NASDAQ came back down. But hey, we have $1.50 in the money on Microsoft. So I don't think we would have had as much return on our investment on DraftKings. But again, it's a different game. You could take more shares. And we did miss the reload there. So we'll go whatever. This is falling down a hole as we miss. I don't know how we missed this reload down here. I guess it's because we're probably at 20. But let's see about Ford coming back in. It's very, very close. We could just reload this right here. I don't think that's going to be a problem. But just watch out for that 20 breaker. That's all for that. And here we come right back to the downside here as the NASDAQ's puking a little bit. Microsoft, you might get that reload opportunity here, guys.
And like you said, if we break that bottom, I'm looking at a firm, but one came into mind. I got more shares out of Zila, down to 10% of that position as it gets toward VWAP, but it's Sierra from yesterday, someone putting in the chat, Sierra breaking back out. Remember, it was 26, the post-halt price, 26, the key level, and we shorted a harsh rejection. This was after a halt. That's why the chase a little bit, because it was a post-halt failure. But in the afternoon, it tested to 26 and then rejected, and we were able to get 25.50 to the short side. Today, 25.50 is actually as high as it got. So this would be one where, I just got all out of Zila, so we'll take that. Said I wanted out in front of VWAP. We did get it, so 75 into VWAP. And now Sierra, if this is the first test, I don't mind the consolidation here. And look, it's $1 away from the top, but it's also $1.50 to VWAP, and this stock, fell precipitously, and it can make some big moves here. So I really don't mind taking a first shot on this. It's not your average $25 stock. Its volatility is much, much higher. So the risk is going to be bigger in terms of growth, but the reward is also potentially higher. So I can't sit out and say it has to go to 26 even. That's a rejection of the same level. So I do like getting into Sierra here. As we go to the board, and again, it's a bit of a mixed one, and we're in a range, but lots moving here today. Let's see where it's moving with Brennan at the big screen.
Hey guys, yeah, nice change on the board versus the past few days. Anyway, some blue back in play here. Green, I don't know why they have it blue, but it is. 1% to the upside here for the S&P 500. FFIV, we mentioned F5, big move down off of earnings. GLW beside it, offsetting that and more. So basically cancels that out. Everything else positive here in the hardware group outside of TEL. And Juniper down 2%. So nice day for tech stocks bouncing back. Semiconductors are leading the entire group in positive territory here ahead of Intel earnings after the close today, 2%. For Intel, ADP down here and PayX down 8%, 2%. They reported everything else, though, software-wise, doing quite nicely. Great day for tech stocks. Industrials are positive as well. There are a few individual of note here. 3M and GE earnings yesterday, pulling back a little bit today. Financials a bit mixed so far today. The individual banks are strong, but everything else kind of back and forth, as we were saying. Consumer staples pretty much negative if you're looking for somewhere. If we do start to move back to the downside, consumer staples a little bit weak. Communication services a little bit weak. Not much though. AT&T here and Verizon both reported as well. Not a lot of movement. 2% for each to the downside. But finally, a positive day. There's Penn. Good day for Penn, as we said, an upgrade. 5%, 1% though for the overall market, guys.
Yeah, Penn, I guess, with the DraftKings gets the upgrade, and then Penn, of course, sympathy play to the upside there. And you pick and choose your pick and choose. I think that industry there's going to be a time for it. It's just a matter of probably some consolidation. We talk about competition all the time there. So Zila just gets right back to this 70, tries to break, and then you look at the pullback here, this is why I wanted to get flat, and then bounces off of 70 even. So if we retake the bottom, what you'll end up having is, okay, every time you short on the way down through that 70 even, it works to get to 65, it breaks up and it goes to 75. So if we break down below this, right now is 69.5, I would just be trying to work the other half of the range, which would be that bottom 69.5 to about 65 even, where it feels like there is a hard bottom going to be put in. And the NASDAQ just keeps trying to bounce off that 43.50 and actually doing so pretty successfully. I'm actually sitting on the offer of that Sierra, and I'm willing to get the short shy of 26. I'm not willing to chase it all the way down to like 24.5 or so. So I'm right here basically at 25 even, or just in front of that 25 even. That's the price I'm willing to pay to get the short off the high of the day. And yes, we are going to Miss V right now.
Hey guys, it's a great day so far, and here I am to remind you to like this video. I love to see this 2.7 thousand likes so far. Thank you so much. And we would really appreciate if you help us to get just 300 more to get to 3,000. So team, please make sure you like this video. Justin, the marketing guy, I believe, will be joining us. So let's go, and back to you guys.
All right, guys, if you looking for some, we have the watch list is completely free. Twitter is completely free. And I mean, just check out, look at this Rivian trade, first of all. We said short up to 65. Look where we're at right now, $60 right here. And we just shorted this. It's a $4 winner. We got out there for $2 at we're short 64, and we got out at 62 break there on that move. Obviously, it was a good out. Should have reloaded it there. Looking at too many things. Look at this thing fall back down to $60, and look what we have here on the sticky note right here. Rivian short up to 65. Still no money. Still no money for Rivian. So that name needed to fall today, despite what we saw from the NASDAQ. We already have Microsoft. We talked about Intel. How you like that Intel long on the sticky note? We have AMD. We have DraftKings. Straight fire long that we liked there on DraftKings. So I'll copy it, paste it. If you guys can get in there, like it, and retweet is what we're trying to do on that one. Look at Microsoft right now. Microsoft's starting to go upside, or downside, sorry, down to 298 again. So we do take a fill there on Microsoft, but look what's happening to the market, man. It's crack city right now to the downside. So we can get this out. We can take a smooth little, I mean, we can turn into scalper if we want here, get some out near 300. So we will offer that. We are long right now at 298.75. So if we could put 25 more cents into our pocket here on Softy, I still think we could break this 304. But remember what we have coming through. We have Fed talk coming at 2:30. We're not expecting, obviously, anything to happen to the rate. It's going to be March where we go a quarter point. But right now, there it goes. Come on, did I just get that? No, I did not. I'm waiting at 298.95 right there. I don't know where it just spiked up to, but I thought I got the fill and did not. So we'll wait to see on that one. Ford, Microsoft, and we just got it. There it is. Yes, let's go, man. This is the kind of day we're having, man. We'll see if Money, the marketing money guy, can come through as well. But we're just cashing out right now. Go, Softy. Look at that reload down there. Right again. Hey, what's up, Justin? He's in the building. I'm like channeling my inner Justin today, as you can see with the sweater on. So I've got the sweater game, channeling my inner Justin today, although he has a, what you call it, a collar. Your boy's not that professional. Here we go, Microsoft again. Let's go. It's another chicken dinner winner as we rip up to 299. That's that 298 fill that we got, baby. Just keep on rinsing and repeating. Sometimes it's just that easy. Many times it is not.
Yeah, we just broke that level on the NASDAQ, so for me, pretty clear. Like, I'm just going short. Like I said, I would take the short when a firm broke down. It broke the bottom end of the range at 56, so I shorted 55.93 as the market took that level, and we're going to hang on to it. Like, I think this is one where if we don't get out of this channel in a firm, and we don't get out of this channel in the market, then into 2 o'clock is worth it. Now, obviously, everyone does their own thing. A lot of times I'm looking to flat big names going into that. And I got into Sierra, not really looking to scalp the 20 to 30 cents that it's giving right now. I'm looking for it to break this, get down into VWAP and take the first dollar. It's 1-to-1, about $1 worth of risk, $1 to profit down to VWAP. And then from there, try to hold it to next level down at 23. As we did mention, very shortly we're going to have Justin coming through. So we are looking forward to that. And I did mention that Lucid was breaking 35. I didn't get it. But it broke 35, and now it's down to like 34.50. So this name just continues to get absolutely destroyed to the downside. Same thing happening to GameStop, by the way. I haven't checked on AMC, but I'm going to assume it's probably close to the low. GameStop now is a double bottom, close to that 100 level. So 100 very much in play on GameStop as it tries to take it out. It was back and forth a few times, but the major support next would be at that 95 level. So there is some room for this to go if it takes out 100 on GameStop. But I will check AMC. I wouldn't want to hit a breakdown short on GameStop if AMC wasn't actually weak.
I saw you there. I'm trying to find you on the chat there, Scott. Oh, here it is right here. Scott was saying to me, Sean, why no more fruit salad? I don't know what you're talking about. Darn it. It was supposed to be the fruit salad thing. We have the wrong thing here. Is this the fruit salad? Nah, the cannon and the fruit salad do not work here, guys. Anyways, we had the fruit salad hit there. Rob, the fruit salad's not, it says fruit salad on here, but it's not working. It's the cannon right there. Bang. I don't know why it goes to Neil's face there, but it does. So Neil takes a sausage to the face there. You can see right now, guys, Softy up $1, and the fruit salad's still in the building. We just don't. I've got away from that. If you want me to do a fruit salad, we can do that one more time. Yeah, we don't put fruit salad on pizza, although you put pineapple in fruit salad and not on pizza, right? What was that? There it is. It's fruit salad time as you get ready to rock and roll. We can go get some fruit salad. There's been some not great apples in there. It's not apple season. I don't know why apples are in the fruit salad, but right now it's 75 cents in the money for Microsoft right now. And then we do have a new position on board. So for that one, we'll go ball in because we'll see what Roblox wants to do. Long at 66.50. We do have a 66.20 bid to see what happens near this bottom of 65.80. But we'll hold on to this Roblox and see if this one again could be another winner. Anything, Neil, before we go, or?
Oh, no, like I said, I got the 2 new shorts on, and that's going to be it. I am going to take the GameStop through 100 because AMC is on those lows. So if GameStop breaks 100, I am going short as we take you to Brendan and our favorite guest. Well, one of our favorite guests, certainly Justin.
I had to wait for that. That's my favorite part. Justin Kozach, Day Trade the World marketing guy, back with us once again to discuss a few things today, including a very interesting story, talking about a vertical takeoff cargo plane
Right.
which apparently, I'm just watching the video here, is really cool. We can show this. This thing is already ready to go.
Right. So going from flying cars to, well, just now drones. So this company, Elroy Air, has developed a vertical takeoff and landing cargo plane that carries up to 300, can go up to 300 miles and carries between 300 to 500 pounds of cargo. So this solves a ton of different problems. Last mile delivery.
Yeah.
You can deliver, supplies in remote areas. The range is amazing. They said that the Chaparral is what it's called, will be a vital logistics link for people around the world living along unreliable roadways in remote and rural areas that take longer to reach today. And they actually are already getting some money and some business, got some funding from the U.S. Air Force, and an order for 100 of these units from AYR Logistics, which is the company that works with the United Nations and the World Food Program.
amazing.
So this is so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's finally a cargo plane drone type equipment. I mean, this is awesome. Not a public company yet, but
Yeah, Elroy, if you're wondering, guys, Elroy, E-L-R-O-Y, the company behind this. And yeah, did we mention it's a drone? So completely unmanned, which is even better, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, really cool story. Let's talk Call of Duty.
Yeah.
News on Call of Duty?
yeah, just a short kind of news story. Call of Duty's next 3 games are definitely coming to PlayStation, or staying with PlayStation rather, since they're already there. So PlayStation owners, fear not. The new Modern Warfare game from Infinity Ward, and the new COD game from Treyarch, and a new iteration of Warzone, all coming to Sony's console. So don't worry too much about that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, despite that Microsoft ATVI deal, the really small one from last week. No big deal.
Yeah.
They're still going to stick with Sony. And this Phil Spencer says he wants to keep COD on PlayStation, which makes sense. They have a big audience there, so.
Yeah, huge, massive audience. Important day. We'll shift gears here in Canada. It's an important day. It's Bell Let's Talk Day here in Canada, supporting mental health and promoting the discussion of mental health here in Canada, which I know you're a big proponent of.
Right. So I talked last week about some of the struggles that I've had with mental health and the journey along that came along with living with those challenges, and the highs and the lows that come with that. And I think that the important thing is that this pandemic has made the mental health of not just Canadians but everybody. It has really had an impact. We're working from home more often. Well, sometimes some of us more than others. Our relationships with family and friends is strained, and all of this the constant state of being locked down versus not. It has really done a number. I shared some statistics last week with the audience, and thinking about my own journey. One of the things that I would like to impart is that it is okay to feel the way that you feel.
Yep.
It is okay to have the emotions that you have about this, and your emotions are valid and they are important. And what I would want to share is that if you are feeling like you are not loved, or that you are alone, or that what you are going through, nobody really understands, that is so far from the truth. All of those things are important. You are loved, you matter, and your feelings matter, and you are definitely not alone. So if you are feeling this way, or you think that someone you love is feeling this way, reach out, talk to somebody. Talking is how we eliminate the stigma and how we make this easier for everybody.
Yeah, well said. And kudos to you, I think, for a challenging topic, but one that's very important. As we said, Bell Let's Talk Day here in Canada. Thank you, Justin, for sharing with us and supporting that subject. And guys, as he said, it's been a challenge with the pandemic and being restricted and not being able. We're very social creatures. We need to be around other people on a day that is dedicated here in this country to reaching out and looking for that contact. We appreciate you with that note. There we go. Back to you guys.
There it is. The beard's actually bigger there. It's like, I love that graphic, but I absolutely love, look, I love that Justin has the guts to come out here and be honest, because, well, to be honest, like the biggest sign of strength in any individual is the ability to be honest with oneself and with others, and sort of not shy away from those types of things. So I think it's incredibly impressive. I know a lot gets said about these types of things, like, oh, that's just, like, Bell's just trying to get headlines when they're doing that. It's just advertising. That maybe will be true, but my personal philosophy is, if something is ultimately good, then I almost don't care about your motivations, because you're going to be doing good in the end of the day. So yeah, I might not give the credit to them, but I think everyone that sort of benefits from this coming to the forefront, that's all to our credit. So thank you again, Justin, for coming back to it. And we're going to come back to the markets. We have, oh goodness, we have 4 minutes until we're throwing you guys on over to Trader Pratt and Ms. V. And we just got to 3,000 likes, so thank you very much for that. And I think a lot of it might have to do with the Justin being honest there. I wish I could say we liked what the market was doing just now, but we just broke the low. So we broke the bottom end of the range here, going right into lunchtime. We've been barcoding back and forth at the top end of the range. NASDAQ up a couple of points, now 1.5 percentage points, and trying to, well, it just broke the bottom and is barcoding back and forth off of those lows. We'll see what happens. It hasn't sustained a move in either direction, but this is the first time it actually threatened the actual low of the day. This Sierra stock, which I am in, is not, like, it's falling back down, but it's not exactly accelerating. There was one wick. It tried to break back above 25 and see that rejection. Like, it got above, snapped back to the downside. So it does look like for now it's going to retrace into VWAP, but you're not exactly falling like a rock here on SRRA Sierra, even though it did reverse hard off these levels yesterday. Might take some more time for it to claw back.
I don't think anything's working here. This board's not. Are you guys doing something to the board over there? No, okay, like the hot dog, nothing's really working here, but we'll just go like that again. There it is, okay, yeah, so now it's working there. Another one, guys. Look at this. How many times are we gonna come down here? Thanks, Justin, that was good. How many times are we gonna come down here to 298 and fill us up? Another $1.80 in the money right now, so we'll just go blah, blah, blah. As it's coming out everywhere today. The market is ripping. This is a great day right now, just taking this out. Look at this trade. We have $2 now. $2 now in the money, as the pins can't line up any better, honestly. We talked about it. It's on the sticky note, 298. Like, it gave you one chance, two chances, even another chance, like 3 or 4 chances down there at 298. You have to trade the names, guys. We talked about IBM yesterday. Bang. Microsoft again today. It's going to be your trade of the day. Softy loading up down here. We'll see if it takes this out. I'm going to hold it. If you had this trade on, $2 in the money, you can take it if you want. But for right now, I'm going to hold on to Softy. We'll see where it goes. Your trade of the day, Microsoft. Spoiler alert. Roblox also, guys, 40 cents in the money on Roblox right now. We didn't get that lower bid, but here it comes. Maybe we'll just take a smooth dollar on this one as well. Roblox starting to bump up higher and higher as well. Brendan, 2 minutes left. What up?
Yeah, a couple minutes here, guys. Let's get a look at what's to come tonight. Not the biggest day yet. We were just discussing, Miss V and I, but here's earnings for tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a little bit crazy, obviously, but let's focus on what's in the middle of the board. Clearly, we've talked about Tesla and Intel, of course. And then the other one we've seen with AXP, but MasterCard going to be in there as well. So let's have a quick look there. There's so much that you have to weed down like what actually is going to matter to those markets and actually be a bit of a driver of the markets. On the top right, I mean, I'll personally be looking for LAM, if only because as an AMAT shareholder, I care about ASML and LAM when they report every single time.
Yeah, I'll probably just stay with what's good, man. I mean, Microsoft, we've been killing it. Roblox, we're destroying it. We destroyed Intel today as well to the upside. So, I mean, everything just working out for us. So we'll continue to keep our eye on the prize. Oh, yeah, and by the way, that Ford, we reloaded this at 16. We just took it out at 24, so that was not too bad. And we're going to hold on to that now, long 17s. But I'm always excited for earnings, and we'll just be here tomorrow. Make sure you check out that sticky note. They had crazy levels on it today. It'll be back tomorrow as well. And we're just going to hold out hope. Oh, there's Ford. We're going to hold out hope that Microsoft gets that 304 area that we think it can. So let's go, Softy. Let's go, Miss V.
Let's go, guys. Thank you so much for 3,100 likes. Team, we appreciate your support so much. Likes are important for us indeed because they help to improve YouTube algorithm and also let us know that you enjoy what we do. And of course, thank you for all the super chats. You're the best, guys. Please join Prad and me right after to continue trading this interesting day. And happy National Peanut Brittle Day, everyone.
I actually really like, look at whatever. I always like every single treat that it is, but I love peanut butter, and peanut brittle is delicious. You just can't have too much of it. Like it's so sweet and it's so sugary, but it's so good. And with that, like the market, what's good? I mean, like it's going to be about 2 o'clock. I think some reactions there, but I know Trader Pratt is going to cover. So make sure you're asking questions and going through your game action and your game plan for 2 o'clock. I know Pratt will go through it. So without further ado, we're going to send you right on over to Trader Pratt, Ms. V. It's all about the market movers.
The internet.
Yes,
Whoa,
sir.
whoa,
Oh no.
whoa. Are we on?
I believe it's Brendan.
Okay, I'm gonna click my button on my side. Yeah, cool. So welcome back to the best show on the internet, Market Movers.
Yes, sir. Brendan
Good
tried.
job, Mr.
Brendan tried to hack Market Movers.
Yeah, he tried to take it over from
No,
us.
it's our time. Best show is back, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's already a very interesting day. It's going to get even better. Be active on the chat as usual. Ask us anything and smash the like button. Proud on the morning show, we got 3,100 likes.
Let's go.
You